Be prepared for, so if your furnace isn't keeping your family warm and comfortable, don't wait and risk the problem getting worse. Whether it's time for repairs or replacement, Agers has you covered with the clarity and attention to detail your home deserves. Contact Agers now at 636-242-6515 or at callagers.com. Hey, Tony Colombo here. Just wanted to say thank you for making 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL the fastest growing radio station in St. Louis. We've been blown away by all the listener and advertiser support we've received in the short time we've been on the air, and we would love to support your business and have you as part of the News Talk STL team. Just send an email to info@newstalkstl.com to get details on how to join us here at the new conservative voice of St. Louis, 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. That's 800-281-4224.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
The far left wants to destroy conservative values in America.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, no question there is a concerted effort to intimidate and silence conservative thinkers and replace our God-given individual liberty with big government controls. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits and all kinds of great content. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. On this Thursday, saw the Beach Boys Tuesday at the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island. Lead singer Mike Love is 81. He can still hit the notes. Doesn't need a teleprompter for lyrics. Amazing. And the reason the Beach Boys are around now is they have a lot of Christmas songs. Anyway, many young people don't understand, before their time, of course, that the Beach Boys epitomize a far more innocent country than we have now. An era when strife and conflict seem far away. Vietnam, of course, wiped that completely out. But it is refreshing to hear the old songs. Takes you back to a far less complicated world. The boys sounded great. The young guys backing up are terrific in replicating the original sound. I am glad I am friends with Mike Love and Bruce Johnston. It's a cultural thing for me. As you know, my latest book is called Killing the Legends, and I write about Elvis Presley, John Lennon, and Muhammad Ali and how they influenced American culture even today. Well, the Beach Boys aren't at that level, but they're close. And the good times that they sang about and their unbelievable harmonies, and remember, these were teenagers when they put together many of their hits, are uplifting. That's the word, uplifting. So, anyway, good week for me. I saw the Beach Boys. Back after this. Many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you could trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551 7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Rain is going to move in overnight tonight, so expect a wet Thursday morning drive, a low of 42. The rain tapers off by about noon. In the afternoon, there's a few more spotty showers that develop, not as steady, not as widespread, but still might encounter a shower in the afternoon to evening Thursday. The high around 47 with lots of clouds. Friday's our dry day, 53, a nice way to end off the work week. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's get the conversation started, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Twitter, social media in general, Facebook as well, TikTok, you name it. It's been in the news a lot, and it's going to continue because, frankly, that's the basis of our communications these days. Is that a good or bad thing? Now, before you say, well, it's what you make of it, Mike, there's now an increasing number of people, according to a recent survey, who say social media is bad for our democracy. Remember, there's been a lot of threats to democracy, according to liberals and media. But is social media something that's good or bad for us overall? The results of the survey are kind of interesting. I want to get to that just a little bit later on today. I'm Mike Ferguson. Hey, good morning. Thanks for making News Talk STL part of your day. Don't forget, you still have time to get your name in the hat for the upcoming conservative Christmas giveaways. Just go to newstalkstl.com and register to be a prize winner, and you could win maybe even as soon as today. Interesting situation happening in St. Louis County. Okay, a tax increment financing proposal to bring a new grocery store to the area. That's not necessarily new, but what is unusual is this has resulted in multiple lawsuits being filed. We had a chance on Wednesday to visit with the NAACP of St. Louis County's John Bowman. He's the president of the organization, or the branch of the NAACP, and he explained to us why they object to this sort of corporate welfare funding of the Deerbergs in Crestwood. Here's what he had to say. One of the things that local politicians love and local media love, they love those ribbon cuttings. You've noticed that, right? Mm-hmm. Get your picture taken, big, huge thing of scissors with the big thing of tape right there.
Where do we even get the giant scissors?
I don't know. What is that? It's like Walmart supersized or something like that. But the thing is that tape that they're cutting is really, 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 really expensive, and oftentimes taxpayers help pay for it. Mm. That's through something called tax increment financing, which I suspect most people who are listening right now are aware of what that is. I'm not a big fan myself because I think it's corporate welfare.
Yeah.
Mike Ferguson here, got Gabe Pfeiffer here, got Ken Williams here. Here's the thing. Tax increment financing, just to kind of lay the groundwork for when this was first invented, the idea is that you go into areas that are left behind economically. So you're talking about, urban cores. You could talk about some rural areas where the town died out and the business moved away, that kind of thing. What tax increment financing has become is, hey, I'd like to build something in a very nice, vibrant area like, I don't know, St. Louis County. But I really want taxpayers to take some of the load off of us and our investments. And that's what it's become. And this has created... This has created a kind of a dust up over the old Crestwood Mall. Deerbergs is putting in a grocery store there. There's other development that's going in to replace the mall. And we're joined now by John Bowman, who's the president of the St. Louis County NAACP. And John, first of all, appreciate you being on the program. So let's start with laying the groundwork. Deerbergs wants to build a grocery store in Crestwood. Crestwood's obviously a nice, vibrant market for Deerbergs. That makes a lot of sense. So what's the problem with the deal that they made, and what is it that's got you and the NAACP, kind of calling foul on this?
Well, I have to tell you, you actually laid out the groundwork on this conversation by explaining exactly what TIFs were designed for. They were an economic development tool for underserved communities to have an opportunity to rebound and develop. So here's what happened, though. The city approved a redevelopment plan in 2016 for 49 acres of the former Crestwood Mall using taxpayer dollars through a TIF. So that plan consisted of commercial spaces and multifamily residences. And the city developers did not move forward with that development. Fast forward to 2021, and Dearborn's put together a completely new development plan and started the process to have that development plan approved. But when I and the NAACP met with the city to voice our objections to using public dollars to build yet another grocery store, a luxury grocery store across the street from another luxury grocery store, the city would not allow me to speak in the public hearing. It was during the pandemic, so the meeting was virtually. As soon as they got to the public hearing portion, the mayor decided to cancel the hearing totally. So in other words, they just silenced the voice of not only me, but the community as well. Then they altered the previously approved plan in 2016 to match the 2021 Dearborn's plan that was canceled. And then the city, they could avoid the NAACP again and not allow me to voice my objections, but I actually attended the September meeting. Now, here's the crux of this. The revised 2016 plan now calls for construction of the Dearborn's grocery store, but it also allows McBride Homes to construct a neighborhood of single-family homes on 23 of the 49 acres. However, the McBride portion of the development would not receive any taxpayer funding. Now, I had the privilege of knowing that when they had their open house, they had lines around the corner of people trying to purchase those properties, and McBride is not using any TIF money to get that done. So this is in no way the original 2016 plan, which is what Dearborn is using to receive public tax dollars. In other words, the taxpayer funding approved in 2016 was supposed to go to 49 acres of development, but now that money would go towards developing only 26 acres, which includes the Dearborn's grocery store, despite the fact that there are a large number of grocery stores in Crestwood already. There are a number of issues that has happened that I think needs to be pointed out. The NAACP, we oppose this development because it diverts taxpayer dollars that would otherwise go to policing, schools, fire districts, and other taxing districts, and it gives those dollars to Dearborn and its developers for the purpose of building yet another luxury grocery store across the street from another luxury grocery store in Crestwood, which is far from blighted. And I guess, the question could be, how do I know it's not blighted? It's because most of the real estate that was previously occupied in the Crestwood Mall is not a part of the new TIF plan that this developer has refused to bring to the county TIF commission. McBride and Sons, as I said, is not included in this particular plan. So the cities continue to use a long-standing practice of diverting money from, policing, school districts, fire districts, and other taxing districts for the development of an area that is not blighted, where now you and I both know St. Louis County has countless truly blighted areas that continue to be shunned by developers and retailers at the expense of our children, particularly where African-American families struggle to have investments and services invested in our area. So the St. Louis County NAACP, we will continue our opposition of this unneeded TIF. And it's time for the county as a whole and all of our municipalities to work together to stop these developers and retailers' cash grabs and focus on equitably addressing the real blight that exists in our county for all citizens. TIF should not be reserved. They should be reserved for blight areas, but not luxury grocery stores, because unfortunately, I service and represent individuals, some seniors, who find themselves having to drive 10 miles sometimes just to get quality food. And so this is unnecessarily using taxpayer dollars for this project, and then trying to use loopholes. And on top of that, they have the audacity that when I voiced the objection on behalf of the NAACP about this project, 2 days later, I get a letter that the city of Crestwood is suing me. So they really are using a tactic that I've never seen before that will not work. In the words of the mayor, where he called our lawsuit frivolous, which obviously the judge disagreed because they have given us a court date. This particular lawsuit is truly frivolous and is not a good look for what we call good corporate citizens.
Good morning, John. Gabe Pfeiffer here. What do you hope to accomplish with the lawsuit? If you win, what are you looking to get?
Hey, several things. Yeah, I want a spotlight put on this continuation of giving rich people more money unnecessarily just because you can is, one, not good for not only St. Louis County, but St. Louis City and other areas, which it seems like stores like Dearborn have chosen to boycott. There's not going to create any new customers by putting another grocery store across the street from another grocery store. There are only so many people in the St. Louis area. The population has not all of a sudden exploded. So we find it more interesting, if you're going to use these economic development tools, make sure you're getting a real return on the investment through either creation of good paying jobs that will create more tax revenue or some other means. But the way they're being used now, it's like you're just getting profit before you even sell a loaf of bread. So I hope that the outcome will be the judge will decide they can move forward with this store if they want to build it just without taxpayers' money.
All right, John Bowman from the NAACP of St. Louis County. John, we're out of time here, but somebody wants to get in touch. They want to talk to you about it or find out more of your work on that. What's the website or social media, or what's the best way to be in touch?
Yeah, they can email me at jbowman@naacpstlouiscounty.org. We do have a website, NAACP, www.naacp.org.
We've got your News Talk STL morning news roundup coming your way in just about 4 minutes and 13 seconds right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. What's happening today? Here's your first dose of the news you need to know. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to join us for the Bluff City Outdoors radio show and podcast, where we talk fishing, hunting, camping, and everything else involving the great outdoors. Brought to you by Bluff City Outdoors in Alton, the Bluff City Outdoors Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. right here on News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Columbo and Katie.
Their job at this incredibly upscale fancy restaurant in London is to go around to the tables and hand feed grapes to the customers.
I don't even want to be like disturbed by a waiter that's filling up my glass every 5 seconds or asking me how I'm doing every 5 seconds. I couldn't imagine someone coming over to me and being like, "And a grape for you, my dear."
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. That's 800-979-3060.
This is News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton, and we're proud to be the official winter weather source for Newstalk STL. The First Alert Weather Team is working hard to keep you ahead of the big weather changes and help you plan your day. So stay connected this winter with Channel 4 and Newstalk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on Newstalk STL.
I know there's going to be some people who don't like this question, but it's one of the things that's kind of on the radar today as far as what we're going to cover this morning are public libraries. I'm not necessarily just talking about the school libraries. We know that along with public schools, those have been captured by the left, but are public libraries now among the institutions that have been captured by the left, ideologically captured by the left? And the latest incident that's bringing that up is actor Kirk Cameron. He writes a children's book. It's got very traditional conservative viewpoints, and he's told by dozens of libraries, no, we don't want your kind in here. Got to keep the, calendar open for drag queen story hours and things like that. So that's why I want to get to that story, but instead of just going, how dare they? I'm just going to ask the bigger question, Ken. Are libraries now among the institutions just completely captured by the left?
Yeah, apparently they are. I mean, 50 different libraries turned him down. And, I think they get this thing all screwed up. It's freedom of religion, not freedom from religion.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it is. So more details on that's to come anyway. Also in the news, recreational marijuana now legal in Missouri as of today, but don't expect to walk into the dispensary and just go grab your wacky tobacco just yet. Still have to go to Illinois if you just want to walk in and walk out, at least for the moment. I'll give you the updates on what the situation is. It's going to take a little while before you can just walk in and walk out with your party favors there. Also, here's a question. Is social media bad for democracy? We've heard a lot this past year about what's bad for democracy, dangerous to our democracy, going to destroy our democracy. Is social media bad for it? So the reason I'm asking is because there's this worldwide survey that was done by the Pew Research Center. They basically went in to developed countries, advanced economies, things like that. And worldwide, for the most part, people say, no, social media is good for our process. In the U.S., majority of people say, no, it's bad for it. So we've got a different take than everybody else on that. And I really want to know what people think about that. All right. Missouri now the 20th state in the nation to legalize recreational marijuana. Fox News' Jeff Manasso has the basics.
Adults 21 and up in Missouri are now allowed to legally possess up to 3 ounces of marijuana after voters there approved Amendment 3, legalization of weed, last month. The state also creating an avenue for some nonviolent offenders currently serving sentences related to pot possession to potentially vacate the sentences and clear their records. In November, voters in Maryland also approved legalizing weed, set for next year. Voters in Arkansas and North and South Dakota rejected it. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Okay, so I've got more details that will kind of fill in some of the blanks, but this is obviously because of Amendment 3, like Manasso just said. It's going to be a much slower process, and you're not going to see more of a proliferation of new stores or anything like that, because Amendment 3, as we know, for good or for ill, restricts a lot of these licenses and gives priority to the businesses that are already there. That's now that protectionism is now in the state constitution. So
I just didn't like that. I just don't think that that's good.
I agree. I voted against it for that reason. Among others, that was one of the reasons, but that's where it is. And so it's going to be a process. So all the businesses that now were kind of protected and they get first crack, they've got to write a letter and apply and then get the okay to sell things. So otherwise, if you're going to go to a dispensary in Illinois, you've got to have your medical card still, even though it's now legal, recreational. It just means if you happen to get your hands on some and it's 3 ounces or less, you're not going to be in trouble with the cops. So if you just want to go get something to get lit up, you got to go over to Illinois for that still.
And just remember, it doesn't mean you can smoke in your car, okay?
Yeah, please don't.
It's disgusting. I mean, I actually hate the smell.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, that's the same thing as like open container. I mean, if you've got it lit up or it's still smoldering, that's the same thing as open container in the car. That's not legal.
Well, there are some unintended consequences too, Mike, that we'll need to talk about, like things like if you go into a bar and that bar is full of that smoke, do you really want to go in there?
I don't.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
And so maybe those bar owners are going to have some kind of rules themselves, or they're going to lose clientele.
Yeah, could be. Because if they do attract that clientele, they're going to have a lot of snacks and munchies. And that's expensive.
Well, that'll be good for them. Yeah,
exactly. All right, this is interesting. All right, not really for certain what the reason is, but U.S. House Ethics Committee has it's announced that it's investigating AOC. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
What?
Yeah, now the exact nature of the investigation isn't officially stated, but there was a complaint filed against her over last year's Met Gala event in New York. So it appears that somebody gave her a ticket to go to the event. Those tickets are priced at $35,000, and she got it for free. So that complaint has been filed. Other than that, I don't know of any other complaints filed against her, but she's under investigation by the Ethics Committee, so we're going to likely have more information about that probably in the coming weeks.
She's a Democrat.
Yeah,
She'll be
nothing's going to
fine.
happen to her. I mean, I'm mentioning it because, AOC is under investigation for the ethics thing, but nothing's going to come of it. I think we all know that. House Republicans, maybe something will come of this. House Republicans say come January 3rd, they are launching an investigation into the foreign business dealings of Hunter Biden and other members of the Biden family. Republican Congressman James Comer, he's from Kentucky, is expected to lead the charge on that. And he was on Hannity last night talking about what is in store.
He had several meetings with people that during the campaign he said he never met with, had meetings on Air Force Two, had meetings in the White House. There's correspondence where people on Hunter's laptop in the emails and text messages say, I really enjoyed meeting your dad. Thank you for meeting your dad. I think he's going to be able to open some doors for us.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of information that is brought out in the Republicans' investigation. But then again, all they can do is ask the FBI and DOJ to prosecute and send them the information. And, well, we know how reliable that's likely to be.
And the FBI and the DOD, Department of Justice and everybody, they are having their own major problems right now.
Yeah, that's why I'm not
with credibility and all that.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm not confident that they're going to, do much with it. I mean, they've literally got the physical laptop right now. Literally, they have it in their possession right now at this moment.
And they always have, even when they called it disinformation.
Right.
When they said the Russians did it, they had it in their hands.
So this is all about how much information is going to be exposed to the public, basically. And speaking of all that, another accusation being placed against the former Twitter lawyer accused of suppressing that Hunter Biden laptop story. Kevin Cork tells us what's going on.
Matt Taibbi, the independent journalist and Substack writer who first published the Twitter files, says Baker had his hands on the documents before they went public without Elon Musk's knowledge. And after he released the initial batch, things got, quote, complicated. Taibbi adding over the weekend, while we both dealt with obstacles to new searches, it was Barry Weiss who discovered that the person in charge of releasing the files was someone named Jim. When she called to ask Jim's last name, the answer came back Baker.
Yeah, so one of the guys that was deeply embedded before going to Twitter into the Biden administration DOJ, now saying he may have tried to filter some of that. Imagine this, being the guy who's expected to replace Yadier Molina. We now know who that's going to be. Looks like the Cardinals have got a deal with former Chicago Cub Wilson Contreras starting next season.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here for the best and brand new St. Louis sports bar experience in the entire St. Louis region, Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge, Missouri, located just 10 minutes from 270 and Gravois. 30 TVs, a huge game room, a great outdoor patio, the Sunset Patio, complete with the Sunset Stage and the train station bar, serving the famous Johnny Dow's chicken wings and the best barbecue in town. Open 6 days a week, serving lunch and dinner. Check it all out on the web, jhideout.com. Johnny's Hideout STL on Facebook. That's Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. That's 800-764-2179.
Not all applicants qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms, including APR, are determined at the time of your application based on creditworthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A source of concern for religious freedom advocates, the so-called Respect for Marriage Act, comes up for a vote today in the House. Would require the federal government to recognize the validity of same-sex and interracial marriages. Meanwhile, a second GOP congressman is renouncing his support of the measure.
Florida Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart joins Pennsylvania Republican Scott Perry in withdrawing his support, charging that Democratic leadership, quote, fails to provide legitimate safeguards for faith-based organizations that hold deeply held religious beliefs about marriage. Perry, in his change of heart, blamed House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for an expedited vote and Republican confusion over the issue. Perry says the bill actually destroys religious freedom. Keith Peters reporting.
The Biden administration is appealing a federal court ruling that paves the way for the end of the Trump-era Title 42 immigration policy. Virginia's Republican chief executive wants to reimburse some of those who were hit with fines for disobeying virus-related shutdown mandates.
Governor Glenn Youngkin says Virginia will stop further enforcement or penalties for violations of COVID-19 shutdown orders. Although it won't apply to violations related to health facilities like hospitals and nursing homes, he's also asking the state legislature and agencies to reimburse some of the fines. In a statement, Youngkin says the fact that businesses are still dealing with COVID-19 related penalties is infuriating. The Republican issued an executive order this week to gather reports on the penalties. He described the actions as draconian overreach by his Democratic predecessor, Ralph Northam. I'm Jennifer King.
Angry at the slow pace of contract talks, hundreds of New York Times employees, including journalists, staging a 24-hour walkout. On Wall Street, Dow futures 75 points higher. The NASDAQ futures are up 38 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-940-6161. That's 1-800-940-6161. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-940-6161. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
The roads are still a little wet this morning. Light rain starting to ease up. We do have a couple of crashes. Kings Highway northbound at I-64, one lane is blocked. And Page at Whittier, which is just west of Sarah, we've got a crash with injuries as well. They just cleared one on the ramp from Bayless to southbound 55. This support sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Light rain across the area this morning, making for some treacherous drives because of the fog combining with the rain and the spray and the slick roads. Temperatures in the low to mid-40s this morning, only topping out at about 48. The rain gets very spotty as we go through the afternoon and into tonight. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-40s. A warmer day and a drier day tomorrow with a high of 54. More rain in the forecast for Saturday. I'm KMOB First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by The Dental Link. Call Dr. Alan Link today, 314-794-6464 to schedule your free consultation. Offices in Baldwin and Melville, 314-794-6464.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert every Saturday morning at 9 right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hey, how you doing? Sanovic here. You can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
And that's not crap.
See, that's not we do that's crap. It's not well done. Yeah.
Log on to newstalkstl.com for your chance to win. Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy? Wow, you're really pumped about this.
Gabe Pfeiffer. Get up, St. Louis.
The best answer to the toxicity of the left is the truth.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, got some more tragic news from the border. There's been another tragedy, and you can connect Joe Biden's anti-American border policies as at least a major factor in this, if not completely to blame. But 6:20, I've got the rest of the details on what happened there. 6:06 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here. Got Ken Williams here. A couple of things we're going to look at today. Do you see this? These news reports that Kirk Cameron writes a children's book, okay? So he reaches out, and it's faith and family and values and all that kind of stuff what you'd expect from Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
And so he decides to start sending him to libraries, or his publisher did, and they reach out and say, we'd love to come do a children's story hour, reading out of the book and that sort of thing. Upwards of 50 libraries have told him no. And some of them have in writing flat out said, because we are LGBT friendly, you do not align with our values. We just are not interested in this event because of the content and because of your perspective and viewpoints.
Okay, so editorial decisions by libraries are fair game.
Mm-hmm.
So when we said, hey, we don't like these drag queen story hour things, and they said, well, the facilities are open to everybody and we just take them as they come, that was a lie? Is that what you're telling me, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, are the libraries funded by the public?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have a real problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think every one of the communities around those 50 libraries need to be in their faces today.
I think so, too. And the bigger question is, because, I've got what people consider probably a radical viewpoint on public libraries. I don't think they're necessary anymore, just with the technology and digital age and where everything's available to us. But how about this? Is this simply one of the latest institutions in America that's been ideologically captured by the left? You can add it to all the others that we've talked about in the past. And of course, people don't pay attention to libraries until something controversial happens. So maybe this has happened already and we're just now finding out. But that's my big question. Maybe this is another taxpayer-funded thing that's just captured by the left.
Now, see, Mike, I don't agree with that at all. I think libraries really are needed, and it's primarily for lower-income families. They lean on those by going to get a book because they a lot of times can't afford to go online, or they can't afford to get the whole book or anything like that. And I used them with my kids growing up. We were there all the time. That's the problem. If there are a bunch of kids going there and they're saying, well, no, we can only show you drag queens, we can't show you Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real problem.
The leftist capture of the libraries happened a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just kind of finding out. We're catching up. We're us on the conservative side, we're playing catch up on all of the institutions that have been captured by the left. And we kind of gave up on some knowingly, like entertainment, and in some instances the media, where we've tried to push back. Rush was kind of the leader in that, kind of creating the conservative media space in many regards. But the rest of it, we're just like, oh wow. So the left has been in charge of this for what, 60 years now? Oh, I didn't know. Right. Yeah, guys, it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad.
It's worse than I thought.
Yeah.
Well, the public libraries should, just by nature of what they do, first of all, be completely neutral on most things.
Yeah.
And secondly, they, at the same time of being neutral on as far as content and ideology, they should also be the most vocal advocates of free speech, among the most vocal advocates of free speech and free ideas. Are there limits on what should be done? Well, that's debatable. Missouri's got the debate that's happening right now, saying, hey, if you've got material that is sexually based and it's targeted at children, you got to put it in a different area so parents are involved in the thing. Okay, but nobody's trying to ban stuff out of it. So those are the two things with libraries that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, it feels like the same thing that we're dealing with schools, right? The teachers. I think there's a lot of cross pollination there too,
Yeah.
because schools and libraries have always kind of gone hand in hand. Schools have libraries, right? So it's pretty much the same conversation.
Yeah, it really is. So we'll get into that a little bit more in depth in just a little bit. Also, man, I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so CNBC does a big survey, just basically taking the temperature of consumers, investors, just that sort of thing. In America, less than 1 in 10 Americans has a positive view of cryptocurrency. And this includes people who are invested in crypto. An increasing number of them are like, I don't like this. And this obviously was the negative viewpoint of crypto was driven down, by the bankruptcies and crashes and the FTX thing and all that sort of thing. But it wasn't that high to start with. So I think there may have been a lot of people like, well, I don't like it, I don't understand, I don't trust it, but I'm going to get on board. And I think there are now possibly a lot of people teetering on, I'm off, I'm out.
And you've got Joe Biden and the Biden administration. He's not doing it, but there are people within his administration trying to digitize all of our money.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of talk about going now. That's it's a slightly different conversation, but the cryptocurrency thing is, to me, you kind of have to look at it as like the early days of the internet. Most people didn't understand what it was. They didn't understand how you could monetize it. They didn't understand what is this thing? But a whole bunch of people jumped in and they invested in stuff that they didn't really understand. That's what caused that tech crash, that initial tech crash. But of course, it also made a lot of people rich, and it also created an entirely new economic ecosystem in the internet that we see today. So, the people who invested in Yahoo, not really knowing what Yahoo was, when Yahoo hit it big, they were doing pretty well, right? But of course, there were people who were like, "Oh, Pets.com is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread," and they lost their shirt when the market kind of rebalanced what that should be worth. I think crypto's kind of in the same space where it's basically the web 3.0. It's going to be behind the new way of doing banking, decentralized transactions through banking, decentralized finance. All of that stuff is kind of built into crypto, but we don't understand it yet. But there's money to be made, so it's a lot of trepidation, a lot of things going on. I think that FTX thing did a big disfavor to crypto, because the thing is, it was just. It's a Ponzi scheme scandal. So it's like, do you lose confidence in the dollar because of a Ponzi scheme scandal? No, not really. But for some reason, people lost trust in the currency, even though it wasn't the currency that screwed them over. It was a particular guy.
Well, FTX, that was a mover of crypto, right?
It was an exchange system.
An exchange,
yeah.
And I think they lost faith in that, and that in turn,
the exchange system,
the whole platform of crypto became, questionable.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, in addition, we're dealing with really high inflation, and there's a difference between digital transactions and cryptocurrency. So this goes even more nuanced. I'm going to be the first to admit, I don't understand. I still don't understand and get my brain around crypto. This is a currency, and it's valued at this many dollars or yen or rupees or whatever. And it's literally nothing. It is literally a computer code that is generated by something, but they've assessed a value and it's not backed by anything. I still don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know if that has to do with this. And when they've seen the extremes of the highs and the lows, I know a guy in his 40s got in early, sold early, paid off his house, retired.
Yeah.
Now just does whatever the heck he wants.
That's awesome.
And it was all based on crypto.
Yeah.
You may need to go to Crypto World and
I may have to.
have a conversation with them.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm the first to say, I mean, I like looking at things like investing as far as emerging stuff, and I know that this is obviously here to stay, but I'm nervous about investing in something I simply do not understand.
It's too widespread right now. Like I said, it's like investing too early into the internet world. You wouldn't want to have done that if you didn't really understand how people could monetize websites, because you could lose your shirt.
Right, and a lot of people have.
A lot of people did.
They've lost everything in a lot of these cases.
People forget how bad that tech crash was in the 90s.
Oh man, yeah,
that was horrible.
Terrible. All right, so we're gonna kind of get into that in more depth, and I'm really curious what people think about that. 314-912-1019. Just ahead, the Biden administration's pro-illegal immigrant policies result in the death of a Border Patrol agent. I will tell you about that in 4 minutes here on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
Stop it right now before you blow a
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
You want to give me more information?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
On southbound 270 between 44 and Gravois, we've got a crash blocking the right lane and part of the Gravois exit. Not a huge backup, just be aware that that's there. The northbound traffic is a little busy. On 64 eastbound at Research Park, we've got a crash off the road. It's on the right-hand shoulder. 30 eastbound at Route B, also word of a minor crash. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman. That's the latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Hey, Columbo here for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, a one-stop solution for all your family's dental needs, including braces. Dr. Boscia uses the My Forever Smile Braces system, which straightens teeth many times in less than a year for half the price of traditional braces. Traditional braces or Invisalign can cost $6,000 or more, but Dr. Boscia only charges $29.98 for My Forever Smile, and incentives and insurance can lower the price even more, plus New Creation offers in-office financing. Learn more at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Kenny Zhu, president of Color Us United.
Race became a profitable industry. That's what happened. Racial victimhood. We all believe in civil rights, but then there are people who actually profit off of racial victimhood in this country. Diversity, equity, and inclusion right now, the new hot thing in companies is a $10 billion plus industry.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30
on News Talk STL.
Steph's Pizza. You know the name. They're famous for St. Louis-style pizza appetizers, salads, pastas, and even party platters. Steph's Pizza. Just the name makes your mouth water. 4 great locations in St. Peter's on Jungerman, on Elm at 370 in Zumbell, on Winghaven Boulevard next to MasterCard, and in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road. Tonight is a good night for Steph's Pizza. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com and find out why everyone is going to Steph's Pizza.
Are you the type of person who loves their community and wants it to be the best it can be? Now it's easier than ever to do your part. Go to recyclemo.com to see just how easy it is to recycle the right way. Or if you already recycle and want to be as efficient as possible, recyclemo.com can tell you what should and should not be recycled in your area. Become part of the clean recycling movement today. It's the right thing to do. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
Now, the Onder Prescription with Dr. Bob Onder.
I'm Dr. Bob Onder. For almost 2 years now, we've heard so-called public health experts lecture that COVID-19 is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. But last week, a study reported in the Washington Post showed that 58% of people dying of COVID are vaccinated or even vaccinated and boosted. This is not completely surprising. Older and sicker people have tended to get vaccinated at higher rates than younger and healthier people. But the death rate for the vaccinated for truly effective vaccines, say smallpox, polio, or tetanus, is about 0. The bottom line is that COVID vaccination may reduce the chance of death for the vulnerable. That benefit of vaccination accrues to that person getting the shot, not to the public at large. So the idea of the government or employers or schools forcing everyone to get vaccinated is not consistent with what Dr. Fauci likes to call the science. It should be your choice whether or not to get the COVID vaccine. I'm Dr. Bob, and that's my prescription.
Find more Dr. Bob Onder at bobondermo.com. Welcome home to St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
More expensive airfare. The Chinese government. Pressure on Iran.
101.9 and 94.1.
Hate has no place in this country.
Understand what's happening.
News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
All right, this is day one of legal recreational marijuana in Missouri, but if you walk into the dispensary, nothing's really changed there just yet. I'll give you the kind of the details of what has changed and what is still to change around 6:35. Bottom line is, if you don't have a medical marijuana card and you want to get high, you got to go to Sauget.
Oh, come on,
or
Mike.
Fairview Heights instead of going to one of the
wait
dispensaries
anymore.
in Missouri. Yeah.
I've waited long enough.
I know you have.
So it's,
yes.
it's smoke them if you got them, but you might not be able to get them so easy.
Yeah, even though it's legal, it's legal. Now,
That's-
once you get them,
that's
it's
what-
legal up to a certain amount. So
Right, yeah, there you go.
updates right around 6:35. In just a moment here, the Biden administration's pro-illegal immigration policies result in the loss of a life of a Border Patrol agent. We'll get to that in just a moment.
I would argue again.
Again, right,
Yeah.
absolutely again.
Mhm.
All right, right now we've got Steve here. Steve, I understand you had some thoughts on the whole crypto thing, and if you're just joining us, a little bit later on, we're going to talk about this in more depth. A new a survey says that less than 1 in 10 Americans has a positive view of cryptocurrency, like in general, in the whole thing, not individual ones, but just the whole concept and product right now. What's your take on it?
Yeah, well, my son, who's a computer programmer, he alerted me to Bitcoin when it was like $3. Obviously, if I had gotten in then, I'd have been sitting pretty good right now. But it appealed to both of our libertarian instincts, the idea of separating money from the government and outside of the Federal Reserve System, et cetera, all had a lot of appeal. But the more I looked into it, wanted to say that you are selling yourself short, Mike. I think you know everything that you need to know about cryptocurrency with your statement about what you know about it. There's nothing backing it. It's essentially a massive fraud. There's no value in it. It's pretty much all hype. And I think, was it Gabe that said if you can't have something about having confidence in the dollar, if you know anything really about money and what money is and what it should be, Bitcoin currencies do not make the grade. They have some of the characteristics, but not all of them. And that, for that matter, the American dollar doesn't either. If you know much about money, you don't have much confidence in the American dollar either.
Yeah, especially since we separated it from the gold standard.
Exactly. And I think my real concern, is if people, there's a greater fool theory in investing that people get into some things knowing it's a scam, but they think they can get out and sell to somebody who's more of a fool than they are as it gets as the mania builds up. But my real concern is these central bank digital currencies that they're moving towards, including in the United States, where the central bank will actually digitize the dollar, and that has some huge implications for our liberty, for our privacy, the ability, literally at a turn of a switch, flick of a switch, they can shut off your bank account and they can monitor what you're spending money on. If you spend too much money on gas this month, boom, no more gas for you. You can't use your funds at a gas station anymore. Too much alcohol, nope, boom. So that's the real concern, is the central bank digital currency.
Well, Steve,
in my mind.
Steve, this is Ken. That's my problem. I was not correct in saying, they were talking about crypto, and I started to talk about the digitized money that they're trying to do here in the United States. They're closely related, but that digitized thing, they could give unlimited, like they are trying right now to print money unlimitedly. They could do unlimited dollars digitally, and then control it and pull it back if they want to, if you don't meet their criteria of a good citizen.
Yeah, they can do it not only now they can print as much money as they want. There's really no limits on that, other than making inflation so high that people start objecting to it and rebel against it. But yeah, on a personal, individual level, they don't have that level of control. But as you just said, under the central bank digital currency, they would have complete control over your bank account, over all of your spending.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, appreciate the take on that, man. That's
All
good
right.
stuff. Good stuff. See, that was the idea that it was supposed to be a currency that was separated from the government is actually what did interest me and appeal to me at the very beginning. And now I just, I'm glad Steve thinks that I know. It doesn't feel like I know a lot. I mean, that's for sure.
Well, I'll disagree with you both, but we'll probably talk about that a little bit more a little later.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Good stuff there. Okay, this is another tragedy. U.S. border agent losing his life during a high-speed chase in Texas. This happened on Wednesday. Matt Finn from Fox News tells us what happened.
The 38-year-old Border Patrol agent was killed when he crashed his ATV while pursuing that group of illegal migrants who crossed the border near Mission, Texas. Fox's Bill Malugin reports sources say the unidentified agent was a father of two. The United States Border Patrol chief writing, "The death of an agent who dies while securing our nation's border is a tremendous loss for our organization and our nation. Our prayers are with his family and co-workers during this difficult time period."
My guess is we'll find out his identity today or tomorrow, probably. But ultimately, the illegal immigrants are the ones that are responsible for the chase because they're the ones who decided to break our laws and come in the country. But they've got an open invitation from the Biden administration, who tries not to even talk about it, much less even go visit to see what the problems are. He was asked specifically, and many Congress people were asked. And what did he say when he was asked why he wasn't going to visit the border while he was near the border? More important things going on.
Yeah,
that was his answer 2 days ago.
More important things. Yeah.
That was his answer.
And by contrast, he's made 8 visits to get ice cream.
Oh, jeez.
But yet he won't go to the border one time.
You're right. It's like they actually have ice cream machines in the White House. I don't know if you guys know this. So he doesn't have to go anywhere.
I didn't know that.
But no, seriously though, this is among many deaths, I think, that you can lay at the feet of this administration. Not just of our border patrol agents, but of the individuals coming across.
Yeah.
I kind of subscribe to a sort of a fishbowl idea of government, where the government kind of has a measure of control of the environment in which we have to survive. So, in the same way that you have to control the environment in which your fish lives, and that'll determine how big or small or alive or dead your fish will be, that's kind of how the government is with the environment where they have control, right? So they set this environment where it's a free-for-all at the border, where the only people with operational control are the cartels. They set this environment right now where the Border Patrol agents are underfunded, overworked, and have no actual resources or support from the people who are supposed to be setting things up for their success. And so everything that happens that's really, really bad, that, if you look at the difference between 2018, 2019, and today, everything that's different between those two instances, you lay at the feet of the Biden administration, and all I see is death, mayhem, human trafficking, rapes, murders, drug trafficking, and a further diminishment of the U.S. economy by a flood of people who are just going to come through undocumented and basically ransack the whole system.
And to your point, the coyotes and that have the truckloads of people that are dying in the truck, whose fault is that? That is the policies of the Biden administration. Those trucks would not be there had it not been for him opening the border the way he has.
That's the dead coral in your saltwater sea exhibit in your tank, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you did this. You created the environment that killed these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was a high speed chase. I think it was on a 4-wheeler is what he was chasing him on. And so we don't know exactly why the crash happened, but we do know what happened at its start, because he was pursuing somebody who was breaking our laws and coming into the country illegally. That's the basis of it. All right. So Godspeed to whoever that is. They have not released his name or other information on that. But
and God bless the family that lost him.
Yeah, because this is one of those things that's fallen out of the headlines again. So I wanted to make sure to bring that back up.
Hey, remember the border? Yeah, it's a mess.
Still a mess. Just ahead here, Amendment 3. Remember, we passed that collectively. I didn't. I voted against it. But it is now in effect, and as of today, recreational marijuana is illegal in Missouri. I'll give you the updates and tell you what to expect. That's all at about 6:34 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. So many ways to listen to News Talk STL. Enable our Alexa skill.
Hello.
Hey, Alexa.
Yes, I'm listening.
Play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. The EPA said it's been blocked from testing the largest source of drinking water in the city of St. Charles. This comes after the city shut down 5 of its 7 wells over contamination concerns. The St. Charles mayor said because the EPA did not meet an insurance requirement, testing was denied. Chick-fil-A is preparing to invest $16 million into a new market distribution center in Maryland Heights. The 100,000 square foot facility is expected to create more than 60 new jobs at Riverport Trade Center and open in the second half of next year. The ACLU of Missouri is suing the Independent School District over its policy of automatically removing any challenged library material before it is reviewed. The ACLU argues in a federal lawsuit filed Tuesday that the district's current policy violates students' First Amendment rights because it restricts their access to ideas and information for an improper purpose and without any prior notice. The St. Louis County Port Authority on Tuesday said it is awarding 21 county nonprofits $2.6 million from funds generated by a lease with the River City Casino. The authority's Community Investment Fund, which is funding the grants, was set up to endow economic and community development projects that create new jobs, foster economic opportunity, and support community investment and redevelopment. And the Blues welcome the Jets to Enterprise Center tonight. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
On 67 northbound after Buck Creek in Jefferson County, we've got a crash blocking the right lane. The only incident in the immediate area is eastbound 64 before the Boone Bridge. That's on the left shoulder. We're just picking up some volume. 55 north headed up towards Carondelet. 270 north is still pretty steady headed up towards Manchester. No issues on the downtown bridge complex or anything coming in from St. Charles County other than that minor incident there before the Boone. This report sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Light rain across the area this morning, making for some treacherous drives because of the fog combining with the rain and the spray and the slick roads. Temperatures in the low to mid-40s this morning, only topping out at about 48. The rain gets very spotty as we go through the afternoon and into tonight. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-40s. A warmer day and a drier day tomorrow with a high of 54. More rain in the forecast for Saturday. I'm KMOB First Alert meteorologist Kent Gerhardt.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
Buckle up, Buttercup. What's new, fresh, and definitely shaking up the airwaves?
Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge presents the Definitely Holly Show.
Hi, this is Holly, a conservative millennial, and I am proud to be the newest member of the News Talk STL family. Every Saturday, we tackle controversial and hot topics and what's going on in our local community.
The Definitely Holly Show.
This Saturday evening at 5
on News Talk STL. Brought to you by Hiatus Tequila.
As a noun, hiatus is an interruption in time, a pause, or a break. As a tequila, hiatus is naturally clean yet complex, ideal for sipping neat, but it also shines in a cocktail. Some companies cut corners, but we prefer to take our time as our blue agave plants take up to 8 years to fully ripen. We got your taste at Hiatus Tequila. Go on a hiatus from the everyday. You deserve it.
Get 10% off your first order using coupon code HOLLY10 on shophiatustequila.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Thursday, Dr. Randy Tolber at 3:40 on Fauci, Jim Carafano at 4:25, and at 5:25 from Project 21, Scott Shepard reminding us, go woke, go broke.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, it is Christmas time. Conservative Christmas time. Thank you very much.
Yay.
And if you are of the Jewish faith, it's a conservative Hanukkah time too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are agnostic or atheist, just conservative be happy time.
Yes, there you go.
There, I'm just trying to put everybody in there who's conservative.
Muslim happy time.
Is it what's
Ramadan?
there? Is that what it is? This time of year?
Is that this time of year? I don't remember. Yeah.
But whatever it is,
But it's a happy time for
it's
you.
a conservative one for them too, I guess.
Yes.
So. But if
We don't discriminate.
if you go to newstalkstl.com, you can register for the conservative Christmas giveaway, regardless of what you celebrate or don't celebrate. And we're giving away stuff at 8:05. We're going to announce the newest winner for the conservative Christmas giveaway, and you still have time to get your name in the proverbial digital hat there that we are drawing from for these prizes. So I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 6:37 right now. Gabe Pfeiffer's here. Ken Williams is here. All right, Amendment 3, as we know, passed pretty handily back in November. So Amendment 3 went into effect. The state constitution was changed on the Missouri side. Recreational marijuana is now legal in the state as of 6 minutes and 37 seconds, or 6 hours and 37 minutes ago. It is now legal for somebody who is 21 and older to have, it's up to 3 ounces of marijuana or marijuana products for recreational use. If you have a medical card, you can have a whopping 6 ounces of marijuana. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people were thinking as soon as it became legal, as in today, that they would be able to go into a Missouri dispensary just like you do over in Illinois. Because my understanding is in Illinois, you can just kind of walk in and go, yeah, I'll take that, and buy it and walk out, is the way I get it, or I understand it. In Illinois, that's not the case yet, because the dispensaries here still have to get formal approval to sell recreational without the marijuana card. So today's the day they can submit their letters to do that, and it could take up to 2 months to get those back. I doubt that it will, but some of the additional sales taxes, I think, are going into effect on recreational sales when those happen. So they're saying, look at all this extra tax revenue that's going to be generated. Well, okay, that's going to happen. But bottom line is that if you've got marijuana and it's a low amount, you're in less danger from the popo.
Yeah, well, whatever. That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know.
Isn't it true, though, if you have one of those marijuana medical cards, you cannot get a gun, or you're not allowed to have concealed carry?
I'm curious about the 2A implications.
I think that those are very real potential ones. That doesn't stop you right now.
Okay.
But that was one of the reasons that a lot of people had an objection, because remember, with the Biden administration now, and then particularly the Obama administration years ago, they wanted to use a lot of the things that people use to get a medical marijuana card. They wanted to use those conditions as reasons to block somebody, anxiety, any sort of mental or emotional thing, which is why, I mean, let's be honest. Can we just be candid here? Most medical marijuana cards are probably complete BS.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just, there were websites set up, and there were licensed doctors somewhere. You type in a thing, check a box. I have, and just name it. Anxiety, whatever. Depression, you name it, and then they're like, okay, you got it. Here's your medical marijuana card, and they got a salary from the marijuana industry. Well, at some point, the left uses any excuse possible to try to block people from being able to legally buy and hold a gun. And in other areas, this type of thing has had an effect. So I think that there is a potential Second Amendment implication. It's just not there right now. I think they're trying to figure it out. They sort of tested the waters, Ken, and didn't get very far through a lot of the country, but I would not be surprised if that's used in the future, because imagine somebody come up and saying, hey, you've got somebody who's already told us they're mentally ill. Do you really want us to allow them to buy a gun? Well, They were lying on a website in order to get a medical marijuana card because they wanted to go get high on Friday night.
Well, remember those comments that were made by people saying that they wanted to put guns under the health care issue situation, and so they could take that under that umbrella and use that to also keep people from getting guns. But I remember driving down to Columbia, Missouri, often and seeing these billboard signs saying, "Hey, pull off here and you can get yourself a medical marijuana card."
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, I mean the prescription's already written. They just have to fill your name in.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how it's been going, right? So and here's my unpopular hot take on top of the thing. I think the entire country is over medicated in general.
Yeah,
because we're weak sauce now.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you on that, Gabe.
I saw a billboard that just said, "Go to this website and get your medical marijuana card." I literally saw a billboard that said that.
So you get the pre-written prescription online, even.
Right? Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there was a fee. I mean, they had to pay for the billboard somehow. But it wasn't a matter of let's examine you to see if you. It's just like, go here to get your medical marijuana card.
Yeah.
Now, to what you were saying right there, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. There were a lot of people who were going to argue, well, hey, it may not be popular, definitely is an intoxicant, but is this better than all the pharmaceutical stuff out there? And maybe people will medicate themselves with pharmaceuticals less.
I don't know.
And not all pharmaceuticals are bad.
Well, and I guess part of the thing is we're still talking self-medication.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about the difference between medical and, well,
But I have a card.
It was supposed to be the difference between medical and recreational, but everybody, the not so secret agenda on the marijuana leaf groups was that the medical was a doorway to recreational. So the thing is, the pretense that this was specifically the medical marijuana thing was specifically to replace the more addictive sort of pain med that had to be gotten by prescription, that fell by the wayside because the prescriptions became candy, right? So it's like, okay, well, there's no difference here. They're giving both out like candy. It's just that I guess hopefully the marijuana won't kill you as quickly.
Well, I mean, what do you expect, if anything, as far as this becoming legal in Missouri? I don't know that Illinois has had any ill effects so far from legal recreational marijuana. I don't expect Missouri to really notice a day-to-day societal difference. I don't think.
I think I'll smell more on the highway as cars are driving. But to your point, Mike, I think when people are using this stuff and they're self-medicating, there will be an element of these people that say, yeah, you know what, I could trade this off for not using this pharmaceutical, but human nature is I'm going to use this pharmaceutical. Oh, and you know what? As a supplement, I'm going to go ahead and use this too. In addition to it. But I think there will be an element of people that will do that, but not all.
Will
of them.
It be enough of a mass scale to make a big difference as far as like, will we notice it in everyday life? Because you smelling the marijuana on the highway, that was happening while it was illegal to do that.
Every day. Every day.
They already weren't listening to the rules.
I don't think anybody's doing any serious research into the societal impact of recreational marijuana anyway.
No.
I as best as I could tell, the only people interested in these things are the actuaries at insurance companies, and they're the only ones who've said anything. And as far as I did look into it, and in places like Colorado, car crashes kind of increased by like 10% or something like that. Technically nominal, but that's still a lot.
10% is not nominal.
Well,
that's a lot.
I mean, it's not zero, which is kind of the thing. I mean, and then child usage is up, and some studies kind of show things like that. But nobody's really doing any serious look at the societal impacts of this, and that's the thing that worries me. That's the thing that's constantly worrying me, is that we don't in our culture, in our society, for some reason, we don't look at societal impacts of anything. We were talking the other day about the societal impact of emerging technologies, and people aren't really paying much attention to that. It's like, hey guys, we should probably put some laws on these things. We should probably, be looking at what this is going to do to the way we live our lives. But nobody really cares. They just say, hey, this is cool.
I voted no on Amendment 3 primarily for other reasons, and I'm actually for the legalization myself. I don't do it, but I have so many people in my life that do it. It's like, okay, if you're going to, my thing is, if you're going to legalize alcohol, then you might as well legalize marijuana.
Well, same. with me, it's not my thing, but I'm a pro legalization. But and I know we're coming up on being heavy on the segment here, but so the societal impacts and everything.
Yeah.
What happens when we say, okay, well, this has got an overall societal impact that's negative, but there's still an individual freedom issue of it? To me, it's an individual freedom issue. I voted against it because I don't like the way that was put into the Constitution, and I don't like the cronyism that was involved in it. But what happens when individual liberty issues collide with societal good issues?
Well, that's when you actually put the guardrails up. I mean, that's the whole point of the way we have our laws. You're supposed to craft the environment, right? So it's like, hey, this is good for my fish tank, and you don't fill the fish tank with is like you're supposed to have gravel at the bottom of your fish tank. You don't fill the fish tank with gravel because gravel's good, right? So you have to understand where the limits are.
It's my fish tank.
Yeah,
Gabe. If I want to put full gravel in it, I'm going to put full gravel in it, dude.
Well, the problem is, though, we all have to live in it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is the fish tank of our lives.
Oh, man. All right, inflation, that's fallen out of the headlines, but turns out it's still a thing when it comes to holiday shopping as well. We've got a little bit of an update on that as well. And then don't forget, 805 Brandon Morse from redstate.com. 2 of his articles that he's recently written, I wanted to talk to him about. One of them just simply says, let's be real, Republicans don't want to win. Whoa, okay. We'll have that conversation at 805 right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
In spite of the wet roads, we're doing pretty well. We do have some delays 67 northbound approaching Route Double C in Jefferson County. That's a crash blocking the right lane. We've got one on 94 northbound past Frieden's. It's an overturned pickup truck, but it doesn't look like he's blocking. Just watch out for fire and EMS crews there. 270 northbound Gravois up towards 44 is pretty busy. 55 north, they had a couple of minutes running up through Weber in Virginia this morning. I'm Joe Sonderman with the very latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
My point about the governor there, it is absolutely about power.
I read this, I almost fell out of my chair.
News Talk STL.
This thing is just absolutely dripping with iron.
News, analysis, opinion.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years, featuring exclusive products, unbeatable prices, and expert installation. You can choose from a wide variety of flooring options, including carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, plus many other options. And you'll gain a peace of mind knowing that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in-store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home online. Check out everything Michael's Flooring has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Hey folks, here's great news for active aging seniors. The Kanega Watch, the only medical alert smartwatch with built-in fall detection. Yeah, the Kanega Watch is much different than the other guys. It's a stylish, discreet watch you can wear all the time. Get help through the watch in one of 3 ways. Your voice, pushing the watch's alert button, or have the fall detection connect you to a U.S.-based 24/7 monitoring center who'll speak to you through your watch and can send help to your GPS location nationwide. And get this, it can do that even if you're not responsive. This is true 24/7 peace of mind for you and those that love you. Order your Kanega Watch with a full refund 30-day trial period. Call now, 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. That's 800-413-7152.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
Thanks for being my voice in all this.
This is News Talk STL.
There are people out there that feel the way that I feel and say what I say.
Welcome home. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
You know, we have mentioned our social media a lot, but we haven't done it in a while is like just put a big push into, hey, if you haven't already liked us on Facebook or followed us on Twitter or liked us on some of the others, Rumble in particular, YouTube, can you do that and do me a favor and share it and saying, hey, here is the new premier conservative talk station in St. Louis. Love to get those that community bigger.
Use
Much
all the
bigger.
buttons.
Absolutely.
All the buttons.
So News Talk STL on Facebook, News Talk STL on Twitter, News Talk STL on Rumble. On YouTube, it's Mike Ferguson in the morning. I would say Vic Porcelli show, but you're off there for a little while because Vic ran afoul of YouTube again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's the first one. I knew somebody was going to be, but Vic was the first out
He
of the
said
gate.
one of the bad words, I
Said
think.
one of the YouTube bad words.
Yeah, I think it was ivermectin.
Just the weird thing is I don't think we've said ivermectin, but we've said a lot of the YouTube bad words on this show, but we
Yeah, probably.
We just said it twice. So.
Yeah, but what we didn't say was hydroxychloroquine.
Oh, we did. No, we did
Okay.
not. No, we did not say hydroxychloroquine.
Well, you did now.
Right.
But
okay. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
we
I
did.
guess.
Yeah, you did just say.
So then we've said
hydroxychloroquine.
both ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine.
Right.
And that
Yeah,
it's good.
but
Like we said,
Vic-
we talked about it being
But
good.
Vic
right?
said,
Right.
yeah,
It
Vic
being
said
good.
Vic said ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine earlier.
Yes.
So, but before we said those words.
Right. So it's possible that the ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine are going to be the problems with both his and I guess
Right.
now ours.
Yeah, and the thing we were talking about was just a simple thing of we felt that possibly those medications would have saved lives during COVID.
I think that's fair to say.
So I was going to say follow Mike Ferguson in the morning on YouTube, but it may not.
It may not matter anymore.
All right. A news survey.
We just have a news report, Mike. Right. Just reporting, morning show.
A new survey says a lot of consumers, a lot of us are still feeling the pain from inflation. You think? Fox News' Ashley Strohmeyer has the story.
A new report says 2/3 of consumers are having a hard time paying their food bill and have altered the way they spend in the past year. Now, nearly 60% say they have budgeted for their holiday meals. Half the people who were surveyed say they are now shopping based on discounts and promotions. Only 17% of the people who participated in this survey said their shopping habits haven't changed. And then with Kroger and Albertsons' recent news of that $25 billion merger, these types of consolidations of giant supermarkets will only force prices to go even higher.
Yeah. Hasn't it been that way for a while now? Like, is this news? I feel like it's not news.
Grandma got run over by inflation, just sitting in her chair watching TV. She never really cared too much for Santa, just bingo night with Earl and Cousin Steve. She couldn't afford to spike her eggnog, just had to sit around at home, streaming episodes of Matlock and watching Otis on the Andy Griffith Show.
Barney, we're busting out tonight.
When she saw her savings dwindle, she hatched a plan to get it back. So she sold her shares in Tesla, flew to Vegas and put all of it on black.
Red the winner.
Grandma got run over by inflation.
Did you notice that said the consumers are now also looking for deals?
Yeah.
I mean, we always look for deals, but as that being part of your primary strategy, that's as far as discounts and giveaways and that sort of stuff.
I've always done that, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of a cheapo. I mean,
Me too, yeah. Yeah.
It's actually kind of a joke that engineers are cheap. And we make fun of ourselves that way, so yeah, I'm not surprised.
If you listen to Dan Bongino, he's always talking about the simple fact that we haven't really felt the pain yet.
Well, it's funny you should say that because the tagline on that news copy of that report I just aired said this comes as some analysts, of course, they also said the word experts, which I try not to do, but some analysts are concerned of an actual food shortage possibly coming to the U.S.
They'll feel that.
Oh, that's coming.
Yeah, so you think things are shortage now. The prices are going up because there are a shortage of supplies. I mean, it's literally supply and demand, the most basic, tried and true rule of economics. Everything comes down to supply and demand.
It's
and
basically a law of nature.
Yeah, market signals.
Right. And we talk about, how the voting didn't go our way during the midterms. And one of the reasons is because of the message, of course, and the candidates that were involved. Mm-hmm. But a big part of it, too, is that people just aren't feeling it. They're not feeling the actual pain of what we're seeing coming down. Like we're looking at it in the future, and they're saying, well, day-to-day life right now really isn't that different yet.
Let me pose a theory here. We have felt it. We are feeling it. We've just accepted it as the new normal.
That could be, too.
Yeah.
I mean, gas prices have come down. And there's a lot of people looking at, I saw $2.95 or something like that somewhere. And there were a lot of people I know went, oh, thank God. I'm so glad to see that. That's more than $1 higher than it was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, if it continues to come down, it'll be in the range where normally it should end up being.
Right.
But I do think it's going to go back up at some point. But we've now accepted that that's the good thing. As far as, because we remember when it was almost $5 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and around here, definitely in the $4 a gallon range. And most of the time was in the $3.50, 80, 90 range as well. So have we gotten to the point where we've just accepted that pain as normal, and any fluctuations of that is based on where we've accepted?
Real quick, Rebecca has something to say about that.
Okay, Rebecca, I've got about a minute left, just so you know.
I'm hurting from the inflation because I notice from spending so much gas money that I'm having trouble coming together with my mortgage payment every month.
There are so many people in your situation, Rebecca. I mean, there's just no question, so many. Hey, appreciate you letting us know, and thanks for being a part of Newstalk STL.
Thanks, Rebecca.
All right, just ahead here, is social media good or bad for our democracy? Overall, I think you can make a case for both. We'll talk about that 7:05 here on 101.9 94.1 Newstalk STL.
The Rob Carter Show.
AOC is supposed to be one of those progressives that is against war and for the environment. Yet she continues to sign bills that sends billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine that nobody can follow where that money's going. All we know is that our interest rates are going up. Inflation is through the roof. They brought down the gas prices for the election, which they do every election season if you haven't been paying attention.
The Rob Carter Show. Sundays at 5 on Newstalk STL. Brought to you by Elite Printing and Packaging.
Katie Fitzpatrick here, and I am so proud to be part of 101.9 and 94.1 Newstalk STL, the station that brought true conservative talk back to St. Louis. The voices you know and trust from a homegrown station that is locally owned and operated. And we'd love to help your local business get the word out by becoming your advertising partner. Just send an email to info@newstalkstl.com to get details on how to join the team here at the new conservative voice for St. Louis. 101.9 and 94.1 Newstalk STL.
Since 2007, the state of Missouri and local governments have handed out almost $5 billion in tax subsidies or abatements to private developers. That money could have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. And studies show these subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. If developers want to build a sports stadium or shopping mall, why should they be given our tax dollars to do it? It's time to reform economic development subsidies. The Show Me message has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is Newstalk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Biden team has gone to court in a bid to keep Title 42 in place. That's the Trump-era public health order used at the border since the arrival of the COVID pandemic. The way things stand now, Title 42 will expire in less than 2 weeks. It's called the Respect for Marriage Act, a bill that raises concern among religious liberty advocates. It comes to a vote later today in the House.
The legislation would require all states to recognize legal marriages regardless of sex, race, ethnicity, or national origin. President Biden says he'll sign the bipartisan legislation into law, promptly and proudly. Democrats have moved the bill quickly through the House and Senate since the Supreme Court's decision in June that overturned Roe v. Wade. That ruling included a concurring opinion from Justice Clarence Thomas that suggested same-sex marriage should also be reconsidered. Donna Warder, Washington.
A day after China's government eased COVID restrictions, many Chinese are cautiously waiting to see how the new approach will be implemented.
After a wave of nationwide protests against China's harsh anti-pandemic policies, the Chinese government rolled back on some of the stricter measures. Among the most significant is the requirement to go to a COVID field hospital if you test positive for COVID-19. Now citizens who test positive but show no symptoms can self-isolate at home. Outside experts have warned that China will face a challenging first wave, as the loosened measures will likely lead to more infections among a population with little immunity against the virus. I'm Karen Chamas.
An FBI agent suffers minor injuries. Another man is dead following an altercation at a D.C. metro station last evening. On Wall Street, Dow futures 78 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 35, S&P futures better by 12. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-880-7474. That's 1-800-880-7474. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-880-7474.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Bible.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Had a couple of crashes on 67 in Jefferson County. They just cleared one at Buck Creek. Now we've got one reported south of Victoria Road. That cross street there is Sunnyside. That's an overturned vehicle. 55 north slowed down Weber up through Virginia. 270 north, 55 up to 44. Just add a minute or two. 94 northbound before Sherman. They're wrapping up with an overturned vehicle, but it sounds like all the lanes are open. This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the Newstalk STL Traffic Center.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Light rain across the area this morning, making for some treacherous drives because of the fog combining with the rain and the spray and the slick roads. Temperatures in the low to mid-40s this morning, only topping out at about 48. The rain gets very spotty as we go through the afternoon and into tonight. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-40s. A warmer day and a drier day tomorrow with a high of 54. More rain in the forecast for Saturday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
If you're concerned about the current market and the 40-year record high inflation that we're seeing, you're not alone.
Credit card usage skyrocketing and at record highs, savings rates plunging.
It's 100% certainty that you're in recession now.
The good news is, for decades, Steve All and his team have been helping people just like you protect and grow your income. And most importantly, not run out of money.
My clients that are currently sitting there on guaranteed incomes, they're not really worried about what's happening in the market. So they're more at peace because every month that paycheck comes in.
Call Steve today for your customized market protection plan. 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
News, analysis, opinion.
Protests have broken out in China over the CCP's zero COVID policies.
101.9 and 94.1.
They're still welding Chinese people into their apartments.
News Talk STL.
More updates and information.
Welcome home. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you!
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is not exactly the hook that's going to keep everybody listening for radio, but we'll get to that in just a second. Can I just point out the differences in personalities as expressed through our coffee mugs in here? You know, Gabe over here, the engineer, the rocket scientist, has the steel, the well-designed,
large,
with the lid, large.
Utilitarian.
Yeah, coffee. Ken, you've got the one that is like very, very, family. This is what you would get. That's the plastic. That's not a paper cup, right?
That's plastic.
Yeah, that's a plastic one, but it's very
reusable.
sensible.
Mm-hmm.
It's reusable. It's good for the family budget. It says all kinds of different words for coffee. Mine is shaped like a hand grenade, and the handle is the pen on mine. So if you were watching us on Rumble or
very
Facebook,
personality
based,
I think.
Yeah. I just we were doing the 705 Kofifi dance, and I just happened to notice. I'm like, I am once again the weird one. That's the way it goes.
I like the creativeness of the different.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, exactly.
Words. So there is creativity on
a little thesaurus going on there.
So conservative Christmas.
Yes.
Going to mention that because we're giving away prizes multiple times today. Every local show here, we're giving away conservative Christmas giveaways. Go to NewstalkSTL.com. You can register, and then we're just drawing names out of the hat, and we'll announce 1 hour from right now. It is 7:07 at the moment. Got Gabe here. Got Ken here. I'm Mike. And survey, interesting. Pew Research Pew Research Center does a survey. And they looked at what they call 19 economically advanced countries. So basically ones with a functioning democracy or republic or, an economy, not third world countries, things like that. And it turns out that Americans, we are the most skeptical of social media in general. Not just Twitter, not just Facebook, not just TikTok, just overall when it comes to, now they say when it comes to is social media good or bad for democracy, when I'm reading the materials of their survey, it's not about democracy versus republic because we live in a republic, people.
Right.
We don't live in a direct democracy.
Nope.
We use a democratic process, but it's a republic. But that's not what it's about. So it's more about the political process.
Yes.
It's not about, congressional or federal versus parliamentary. It's about the political process, the political dialogue, elections, things like that. And so 2/3 of Americans who responded to this survey said that they believe social media platforms and fill in the blank, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, are bad for democracy, are bad for our process. I look at them as a tool that will be used for good or bad, but that's just me. Is social media, because it's here, obviously, it's here to stay. It's the new permanent thing, for until 100 years from now when they invent something else that antiquates this. But as of right now, it absolutely has changed everything. 314-912-1019 has the inclusion of social media into all of our processes been good or bad?
Well, speaking of our social media platforms, Don says that his 7-year-old just said social media is bad. And he said he asked her why. She said because she doesn't know what it's for. So,
I don't even know what this is for. Yeah. Even a 7-year-old's kind of like, what is this for? Is this? Now, of course, I disagree with that. I think I'm kind of with you, Mike, in that it's a tool. That's kind of how I look at all technology. I don't know why. But I think the difference, though, between the national understandings of us between countries, I think is indicative of how social media has been used in those countries. I think in countries where it's largely government control of information, government owned stations, government owned messaging, the social media has created a democratized version of the sort of information ecosystem for them that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
So that's oh my gosh, I wouldn't know this if I had to still rely on the government's television station to tell me. So from their perspective, it's definitely a net positive for the democratic process because they have more information, more sharing, and all that stuff. For ours, because basically this is where it developed, because we're a little further along in the process. Our institutions, our government have figured out a ways to manipulate us through social media. So it went from this is a democratized information sharing to this is another propaganda arm that has been exercised now. Well, now we're kind of seeing the game for what is.
Okay, so that's one of the negatives of social media. What about positives? What are pros?
Oh, the communication, the knowledge you gain. I think the communication between people can be a great thing if it's done right.
Yeah, that's the key part, though.
And I know.
I mean, let me give you one of the examples of a pro is that any candidate, if they have good enough content, can reach voters they would have not been able to reach before. So you've got some third or fourth tier Republican or Democratic primary candidate or a third party candidate or an independent candidate, and they can grow and affect a campaign based on how much of a following they can get. So I think that's actually a really good thing. The bad news is that we do get flooded and overwhelmed with nonsense and crap. And part of the reason that Americans don't like and think social media has been bad is because it does highlight and probably become the tool that drives more division in the country.
And I think musically speaking, I'm a fan of this guy named NF, and you would never have heard of him on his music had he not been online and not had the access to people that he does get from being online. I think that's been a big bump for artists who don't have the money or the contacts to get a record deal.
And speaking of exposure, there are things like Project Veritas and Libs of TikTok that have given us exposure to the inside, to the inner workings of these institutions that have been infiltrated by the left that we would not have known otherwise.
Yeah. That's the other pro is that we work around the establishment legacy media as well.
Yeah.
Now, what about cons? I mean, what about the bad aspects of social media? I'm not talking about government censorship because we've addressed that to some degree, but what about are there any bad parts of it as well?
I think the misinformation. I think that you have to be vigilant in absorbing and how you take in the news that you do get online because a lot of it's crap. I mean, there's a lot of crap out there. I'm on Twitter a lot, and somebody will give something, and it has over 1,000 likes, and they're saying, "Look, see exactly what I was talking about," and I go, "Well, that's been photoshopped." So. And then they give me trouble. And I'm like, no, I know
triggered.
I know Photoshop, and I know you're on the same team, but guys, listen, that's not right. It's Photoshopped. Stop doing it.
My problem is the social contagions.
Yes. Yeah.
The little kids. I don't think the internet is for kids. I don't think the internet is for people whose brains have not developed enough to be able to control their dopamine response, because that's all. The internet is built on. It's dopamine response. You get a like, ding, dopamine, bink, and dopamine is a drug basically that is the drug that runs our emotions. And it's the inner working that gets tweaked when we take a substance. So the thing is that social media is literally a drug system, and for young kids who their brains are just flooded with dopamine. From this, that, and the other thing, just constantly scrolling. Hey, that was funny. Haha, dopamine. Ding. Move on.
Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome. Dopamine. Ding.
It's a great point.
You keep going. And kids have gotten lost just in they don't understand how to live life without their phone. There's a reason for that. It's because it's addictive.
And that may be one of the reasons people go to whatever platform it is, whether it's, Twitter, Getter, Facebook, any of the others, go to that for spreading stuff, because I've seen this too. I mean, I've seen people will share something or retweet it, and it's complete crap.
Yeah,
it's absolute crap. But it's hard to vet it in a marketplace of ideas because we tend to settle into echo chambers. Now, what's the solution? So in the last minute or so we've got then. The point is that obviously I'm not one of those old curmudgeons like we need to get away. No, it's here. It's a real thing. It's here. So how do we use it effectively to win back ground on whether it's cultural issues or absolutely when it comes to elections and getting better people into office and getting bad people out. So how do we leverage that as conservatives and libertarians?
You ever hear that saying, you can't put toothpaste back in that tube?
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there, man. That's going to be a heavy lift to be able to do something like that. I mean, it's kind of a free-for-all right now. I see parents, and this is what upsets me the most. I will see parents with 4-year-olds sitting in a doctor's office, and the kids and the child and the parent don't even communicate at all. The kid has the electronic device of hers, sitting there playing the game, and she's just doing her other thing. If she has her own device, a lot of these 4-year-olds have their own device now. So, I mean, that to me is just a tragedy.
So for me, I'm thinking the only thing we can do is play the game as it is. You know, like you said, the toothpaste is out of the tube. So if we're playing the dopamine game, then we need to come up with the best dopamine system.
Okay.
Right? So it's just like, you know what? That video was awesome, PragerU. That video was awesome, News Talk STL. You know, so you know, bing dopamine, and in it, we have the positive messages. In it, we have the
Babylon Bee.
The Babylon Bees is one of those great instances as well. I don't know if you've seen their series of the Californians moved to Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, love it.
That's so funny.
That's dopamine filled.
I want to see the entire thing like lumped together in one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, dopamine, bing, keep scrolling. That's funny. That's awesome. I want to see more of that. Use it. Use it. Get these kids hooked on conservatism.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's any other way. I think it's there, and, you know.
Yeah.
314-912-1019. Also talking about capturing. We used hooked and all that sort of thing. Has the ideological left captured libraries? Kirk Cameron's in the news again. This time for being denied the ability to read his children's book to children. We'll tell you why, although I bet you can guess, at 7:21 here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Just a couple of minor things to watch out for. Eastbound 64 before the Boone Bridge. We've got a crash, but it's on the left shoulder. Volume's pretty light. 55 north, just working up some slowdowns. Weber through Virginia. 270 north, it's mainly just that run up towards Doherty Ferry in Manchester that's busy. 67 northbound at Sunnyside in Jefferson County. We've got an overturned vehicle, and they're clearing a crash 94 northbound before Sherman. I'm Joe Sonderman. That's the very latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Columbo and Katie.
Their job at this incredibly upscale fancy restaurant in London is to go around to the tables and hand feed grapes to the customers.
I don't even want to be like disturbed by a waiter that's filling up my glass every 5 seconds or asking me how I'm doing every 5 seconds. I couldn't imagine someone coming over to me and being like, "And a grape for you, my dear."
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2
on News Talk STL.
Open enrollment for anyone covered by Affordable Care Act is now open through January 15th.
So now is the time to act.
Hi, this is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. And regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively.
Call Mike Butts and his expert team at 314-544-5400.
Or visit mbhealth.com.
For $1 a day, if any covered appliance breaks in your home, we guarantee to fix or replace it. All makes and models, washers, dryers, refrigerators, air conditioners, and more. Guaranteed to be fixed or replaced for $1 a day. Call the Home Service Club now for free information.
800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. That's 800-399-3701.
Fox News commentary.
The Real ID requirement deadline has been extended another 2 years, and that's all fine and dandy, but what about voter ID? I'm Tommy Lahren, more next.
This holiday season, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us with their annual Season of Hope. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve, the foundation will deliver mortgage-free homes to dozens and dozens of America's catastrophically injured veterans, fallen first responder families, and Gold Star families. Bring hope to heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Gotten your Real ID yet, don't sweat it. You can put it off another 830 days because the U.S. federal government has once again pushed the deadline and pushed it another 2 years till May of 2025. The deadline for these ID cards has already been pushed with COVID as an excuse, and yet again, the lingering impacts of COVID are to blame for this extension. I think it's a load of BS. We need to maintain a minimum security standard in this country, and proving you are who you say you are is a big part of that. And I've had it with the nonstop and arbitrary roadblocks placed in the way of identification requirements. We need real IDs, we need voter ID, we need to bring national security back as a top priority. It's not that hard, it shouldn't take this long, and the deadline shouldn't keep getting pushed. Wouldn't it be nice if the Department of Homeland Security cared about, I don't know, Homeland Security again? I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can listen to all of my hot takes at foxnewscommentary.com.
It's St. Louis's favorite nutcracker with performances December 16th through 23rd. A glorious holiday tradition. Tickets on sale now for St. Louis Ballet's The Nutcracker, 314-534-1111 or at metrotix.com.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Okay, telling you right now, 7:35, we've got kind of a breaking news situation. And if it were just that Brittany Griner, the basketball player, were released from a Russian prison, I might mention it. I don't sense that many people care.
Yeah.
But that's not the news. We're still gathering the information right now. Brittany Griner was let out of a Russian prison as part of a prisoner exchange.
Yeah.
And a 7:35, more depth, but basically we're getting back a basketball player who protests against the United States, which that's her right to do, don't get me wrong. But we're getting back a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
They are getting back an arms dealer who specifically sold explosives and rockets and things like that to groups with the purpose of shooting down American military personnel. That's who they get back in exchange for a basketball player.
Potentially a mass murderer.
They call him the Merchant of Death.
Yes. So 7:35, we're going to have all of our bullet points here, no pun intended. And we'll talk about that, and I'll bring you up to date on that. So, guys, I'm calling an audible on the plan here. So 7:35, that's what we're talking about. It is 7:24 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here and Ken Williams here. We've talked some. I mean, I think we kind of figured out public libraries are all aboard the drag queen story hour, type stuff. And to some degree, it's like I think it's wrong. It doesn't reflect general community values, but public libraries are free speech zones, and if you want to do that, you can reserve the room, and you can do that. And parents, if they want to bring their kids in there, it makes them terrible parents, but that's their right to do that.
Yeah,
it's our right to criticize anybody who does that.
Absolutely.
But they've got a right to do that, and we've been consistent on that. So we find out this morning that Kirk Cameron, the actor, and he was written a children's book. And the children's book is, faith and values and family and God and Christianity and all this kind of stuff.
Standard Kirk Cameron stuff.
Yeah, what you expect from Kirk Cameron. And so his publisher start putting out the request in selected markets. We'd like to bring Kirk Cameron to town. We'd like to have a story hour. People can come out and meet Kirk Cameron and have him read from his book to your kids and everything. And dozens, looks like close to 50 libraries, public libraries in this country, have said, nope, not interested, because it is Christian and conservative. Specifically, that's what they have said. Now, Fox News went and dug into the list of some of these libraries that have turned down the Kirk Cameron, story hour with kids, and some of these are exactly the same ones that have and put on their website and promote and brag about drag queen story hours and all that sort of thing. As a matter of fact, some of the libraries have actually responded to the publisher by saying, no, your messaging doesn't align with ours. We are LGBT friendly here. And they have specifically said, we don't want your kind in our library.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's straight up discrimination, right? It's not a surprise to me necessarily. It's just always shocking when it actually happens. It's like, they really do believe that they run everything and that they're in the right. They're the good guys.
Can I put this in a different way? They truly believe that the people who disagree with them on some things should not be allowed to speak or think that way.
Yeah.
So the bigger question here is, has the public library system in America been ideologically captured by the left? Has it been captured? Is it just one of those institutions that, like public schools, like the academy, colleges and universities, unfortunately, like it appears to be the medical establishment, have public libraries simply been lost ideologically to the left?
I'm just amazed by the fact that it's taxpayer money buying, that takes care of the libraries, and they have the gall to say it that blatantly and not even hide it. They don't even try to say, well, we're gonna see what we can do about that. They're just saying, no Christian conversation happening here. But we will have drag queens.
Right. And again, public libraries should be neutral as an entity, but they should also be the most pro-free speech advocates in the area.
Absolutely. And isn't that kind of the point? The point, they're always talking about, oh, you just want to ban books, right? Because as a free speech argument, right? That's the free speech argument that they're making. And yet here we are where they're basically banning a book.
Do we have a reason for why they don't want that Cameron to do those things?
It's too Christian.
Yeah, because they specifically said there was one. Now I can't speak for all 50 of them, but there was one that simply said, "We are a queer-friendly library. Your values and messages do not align with ours."
Okay, they need an awakening.
Let me read you the little synopsis on Amazon for Kirk Cameron's book. It's called As You Grow. Watch Skytree grow into a haven for Freedom Island and a symbol of hope for all. Starting from a seed, Skytree has grown into a massive tree through the trials and triumphs along the way. As you track the gentle giant's growth, read the words of wisdom that guided this tree and learn about love, joy, and gentleness with your family through the brave challenge at the end of the book.
That's dark magic.
Yeah, right? It's really that's crazy stuff, right? That's crazy Christian stuff. Anti-LGBT, obviously, because it's talking about freedom. And so yes. So at the same time that these people are saying, oh, how can you be against just people having fun in costume reading to children? That's how they describe their drag queen story hours. They say, how could you be against that? And then they stand against this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question.
That makes
There's no
sense to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, so remember this the next time that the local library district has a tax increase on the ballot?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's where the money comes from.
Big time.
Now, as much as I think I'm kind of with Ken on the whole idea of public libraries, that they still need to exist.
Because we disagree on that.
We disagree about that a little bit.
I'm irritated that I have to pay for them, and I don't think they're necessary.
I guess I'll say I'm more in the middle, because I think their presence should be smaller. I think there's that it doesn't need to be this gigantic book haven as much as it is right now, that everybody comes to, and it gets millions and millions of dollars, and they rebuild the building every few years, all that stuff. I think we can do more with less in terms of the public library system, but I still think it does need to exist for the less fortunate who don't really have access to certain things that they can provide through the library. But, because I was one of those beneficiaries. Now, it may be different today, though. I mean, that's something that I also need to recognize, that, life for me was different than life for some of these young kids coming up now. I mean, even poor people have cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And it probably is different, but I benefited as a kid that couldn't afford a book. I mean, growing up. And I think that it has a place. But again, I agree with you. You should see near Grant's Farm, we have our library, a new one that was built. It is amazing. It's huge,
gigantic complex.
It's gigantic,
millions
glass,
of dollars probably.
Very, very well, like futuristic looking. And I'm thinking, probably a mobile bus would have done well.
Employs 15 people.
Yeah, getting
maybe
getting those books into those neighborhoods where kids can't afford it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the goal.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the goal.
Maybe that's the idea. Decentralize it completely. Go with the library trucks.
Yeah,
the bookmobiles.
Bookmobile.
And there have been
just
several.
love those, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there have been several libraries that have done that.
Yeah.
Bookmobiles.
Bookmobiles and sort of mobile internet hotspot things. Because one of the things that I remember going, was using it as an internet place, because we didn't have internet in my house. So I would go to the library to use the internet. Now, of course, that was the early days of internet. Again, like I said, today may be completely different, where, the poor kids have the cell phone and they have direct access to the internet 24/7. So who knows?
Mike, that thing you brought up about the libraries and not allowing Christianity in there, but drag queens, that's protestable. I mean, I would gather people around and say, look, we've got to protest.
Do we have a list of those? Like, is it available online someplace?
I have not seen that yet.
Okay,
so
all right.
Brave Books is the publisher. They're the ones that have been rejected, and they're the ones that said that. But Fox News apparently has it. I have not seen the list published anywhere.
Yeah, we need that list.
All right, 314-912-1019. I want you to be ready here. It looks like Brittany Griner has already been released. She's on a plane headed back to the United States. The White House is about to do a big announcement
They're going to be owning this.
The president just talked to her on the phone, so this is a big deal. They're going to celebrate. But what did we give up to get back Brittany Griner? I'll tell you, 7:36 on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
Supply chain bottlenecks and make inflation worse.
News, analysis, opinion.
Soon to be Speaker McCarthy.
Washington now has a check and balance.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. A new 730 area code overlaying the current 618 area code will be introduced in southern Illinois next year, the Illinois Commerce Commission announced Wednesday. The new area code addresses the depletion of prefixes available for assignment within the region and will be introduced after July 7th. Chesterfield city leaders are working with an amateur sports organization called Perfect Game USA to renovate the Chesterfield Valley Athletic Complex and plan new tournaments. Under the upcoming 10-year lease, Perfect Game plans to renovate all 16 turf fields for the complex and plans to host regional and national tournaments for baseball and fast-pitch softball. And in sports, the XFL revealed team uniforms yesterday. The Battlehawks home jersey is sky blue, while the away jersey is jet gray. The numbers are stenciled like that seen on Jets, and the chrome accent on the shoulder is a nod to the Gateway Arch. MLB catcher Wilson Contreras and the St. Louis Cardinals have agreed on a 5-year, $87.5 million contract. Contreras became a free agent this offseason after playing with the Chicago Cubs since 2016. Scott Warman will replace Dan McLaughlin on Bally Sports Midwest for the play-by-play of SLU's basketball game against Boise State on Saturday night at the Chaffetz, as well as 2 other games in December. McLaughlin was charged Monday with a felony count of persistent DWI. And the Blues welcome the Jets to Enterprise Center tonight. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Actually, kind of thought it would be a little busier with the wet roads that we had this morning and everything, but the only crashes I have are on Bayless at Lee May Ferry and one northbound on 67 at Sunnyside in Jefferson County. 55 northbound's just busy running up through Bates and Gaskin 8. 270 northbound just has a couple of busy pockets, one of them right at Gravois 21, the other one right at Manchester. 270 in North County's clear. 70 east headed for the Blanchette Bridge and 64 east headed for the Boone are still steady. This report sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Light rain across the area this morning, making for some treacherous drives because of the fog combining with the rain and the spray and the slick roads. Temperatures in the low to mid-40s this morning, only topping out at about 48. The rain gets very spotty as we go through the afternoon and into tonight. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-40s. A warmer day and a drier day tomorrow with a high of 54. More rain in the forecast for Saturday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hi, Sean Long with STL Fenceworks. Our company realized another extraordinary year of great business. I thank God for engineering our success and for this great nation and all the blessings it offers those who persevere and work hard. Second, I want to personally thank the great customers who put their faith in our company to make their home and backyard dreams a vision fulfilled. STL Fenceworks doesn't exist without you, and I'm humbled and grateful for your patronage. I also want to thank all my great employees. You're the backbone of STL Fenceworks. You make my vision a reality. I'm truly honored to work amongst such fine people. Finally, as the year ends, I want to remind everyone to take time to enjoy the season. Embrace your family and friends, count the blessings in your life. Reflect on the important things, and don't forget the true meaning of Christmas. When a baby was born, Jesus, our Savior. On behalf of everyone at STL Fenceworks, have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed and prosperous New Year.
Steph's Pizza. You know the name. They're famous for St. Louis-style pizza, appetizers, salads, pastas, and even party platters. Steph's Pizza. Just the name makes your mouth water. 4 great locations in St. Peter's on Jungerman, on Elm at 370 in Zumbell, on Winghaven Boulevard next to MasterCard, and in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road. Tonight is a good night for Steph's Pizza. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com and find out why everyone is going to Steph's Pizza.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
You know what's going on?
Have a great awakening.
You see through the smoke screen.
It's cool to be woke.
News Talk STL.
Until it's not.
News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
I'm supposed to have mixed emotions here, but I'm really irritated. And it's not because an American is coming home from a Russian prison. I mean, Brittany Griner is somebody, who has protested against this country and all that sort of thing. But that doesn't mean I'm happy that she was in a Russian prison. And
sure.
Sentenced to, 9 years or something like that
in
there. The White House is making a huge deal right now because as of a few minutes ago, Russia released Brittany Griner from a prison. And they're going to take a victory lap. There's going to be a big statement from the White House, and they just showed pictures of the president on the phone talking to Brittany Griner, and Brittany Griner's wife was in the Oval Office with him and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, whatever, that's his base, that's his liberal base, whatever. But here's the deal is Brittany Griner is coming back to the United States because of a prisoner swap deal. So we get a prisoner back, they get a prisoner back. And you may say, well, okay, that seems fair. We're getting an American back. Okay, before you say that, here it is. Yeah, he's coming back up with that's Brittany Griner's wife.
Okay,
whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the vice president's there. That's the Secretary of Defense, Anthony Blinken there, or not the Defense Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken there.
Oh yeah, he probably did the negotiating, which is why it's such a crap deal. We're giving up the merchant of death.
Yeah.
That's who we're giving up for a basketball player.
Yeah, exactly. And so we are giving up what's his name there?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, we're finding his name. Oh, Victor Bout. Arms dealer Victor Bout, who literally was putting arms into the hands of people whose entire job was to shoot down U.S. military aircraft and kill American soldiers around the world. That's who we're trading for Brittany freaking Griner.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, good job, Brittany, carrying around that THC stuff in Russia. I mean, think about it this way also. We were upset that the Russians incarcerated her, but she didn't abide by the country's rules. And whenever people come here in the United States, and we always say, abide by our rules, and she should have abided by their rules, whatever they are, no matter how right or wrong they are.
It was a sham trial, and their rules are stupid. But
Sure.
yeah, you're there. You better know that.
Yeah.
Why would you think otherwise? I mean, that's the other thing to me. It's like why would you not as many hoops as you have to go through to go to another country? And I've been to another country, so I know that you got to get your inoculations, you got to check all these other things. Why would you think you could bring in a substance that isn't even legal in all 50 of the states from the country you're leaving?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that? And here we are trading her for the Merchant of Death. He's Bout is a kind of a mysterious figure. Like nobody kind of knows his origins except that he was a former Russian military officer. But he was serving a prison sentence for conspiracy to commit murder. He's an alleged international arms dealer. There's so much wrong with this trade.
Yeah, and know that he's going to get back into his field and start acting as an arms dealer again. And man, she has to be disgusted in herself to know that she's the reason why that we're trading for him. So,
how many times are we going to take a bad prisoner trade deal? Like it's been one Democrat president after another, hasn't it? Like didn't we trade like a major terrorist or multiple terrorists for that deserter during the Obama administration? I can't remember the name of the
one with the
guy.
beard.
Yeah, it's not that guy. It was one of our soldiers who had defected or who went AWOL or something like that. Came back, became trans. You remember that whole deal?
Yeah.
We traded like 5 or 6 terrorists, convicted terrorists, for that person.
In fact, they became like sergeants in the military, the Taliban military after that.
Oh, yeah. They went back. Those guys are probably ruling over the Taliban right now.
Heroes, yeah.
Well, you look at what's happening, and literally the president has called a public address to the nation to brag about Brittany Griner. Now, don't understand what I'm saying here. I am not upset that Brittany Griner has been released.
Sure.
I am upset that we thought a basketball player is so valuable that we are going to give back an arms dealer who makes a career out of trying to kill, among others, Americans, particularly American military personnel. That's who we traded. And I'm looking at the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, and the Secretary of State of the United States, all taking a victory lap on this from the Oval Office, bragging about this. How stupid can this possibly be? But you know what? I guess the young activist crowd is going to love this because Brittany Griner became a hero to the left with joining in on all the protesting on the WNBA, except nobody watches the WNBA. Nobody cares.
This is wild. This is wild that we're dealing with this right now.
Unbelievable.
And they're so happy. They're just, all smiles all around. Hey, look, guys, we did. It's Kamala on the phone again. We did it, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing?
So now Brittany Griner's wife, Sherelle, is that how you'd say that?
I think so.
Sherelle Griner is speaking to the nation. Is she going to speak to the nation the next time the Merchant of Death supplies somebody with something that blows up a place where Americans are?
He's going to start doing his craft, and she's going to continue to play basketball and then take a knee whenever the national anthem is turned on.
Probably.
Whenever she sees an American flag, she'll put her knee down. And
Now, Bout's downfall, the Merchant of Death, was insisting on closing a supposed deal he had with FARC, F-A-R-C. I can't remember exactly what that stands for.
That's a group in, I want to say the Philippines, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And quote, he was more than happy to say he knew the weapons would be used to kill Americans.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy we're releasing in exchange for
a basketball player. That's who we're trading back to Russia. That's who we're giving back to Vladimir Putin for a basketball player.
While Putin is at war, and arms are kind of a big deal.
314-912-1019. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're knee-jerk reaction wrong. If you disagree with us, I definitely want to hear your take. If you agree, obviously, as well. Unbelievable. I mean, this is beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Got a lot of stop-and-go traffic in the construction zone, 270 westbound, jamming Newhalls Ferry towards Washington Elizabeth. Had about 5 minutes through there. They're wrapping up with a crash at Bayless and Lee May Ferry. 55 northbound, you've got volume baits up through Gasconade. Just add a minute or two. 270 northbound, add about 3 minutes. There are some pockets coming up between 21 and Manchester. Not a jam the whole way. Just add a couple minutes. 64 west is pretty busy. Clayton, Skinker to Big Bend, but 64 east is okay. We had an earlier incident at the Boone Bridge, but it's been cleared for a while. This report sponsored by Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
The Vic Borselli Show.
Thursday, we will speak to conservative activist and just happens to be the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The great Alveda King joins us at 9:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
As a noun, hiatus is an interruption in time, a pause, or a break. As a tequila, hiatus is naturally clean yet complex, ideal for sipping neat, but it also shines in a cocktail. Some companies cut corners, but we prefer to take our time as our blue agave plants take up to 8 years to fully ripen. We got your taste at Hiatus Tequila. Go on a hiatus from the everyday. You deserve it.
Get 10% off your first order using coupon code HOLLY10 on shophiatustequila.com.
Hey, Chris Arps here. Thank you for making 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL the fastest growing radio station in St. Louis. We've been blown away by all the listener and advertiser support we've received in the short time we've been on the air, and we would love to support your business and have you as part of the News Talk STL team. Just send an email to info@newstalkstl.com to get details on how to join us here at the new conservative voice of St. Louis, 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Columbo here for Eggers Heating and Air Conditioning. Christine and I trust our home with Eggers because at Eggers, customer satisfaction is the #1 priority. And as you know, St. Louis winters are too cold and unpredictable to not be prepared for. So if your furnace isn't keeping your family warm and comfortable, don't wait and risk the problem getting worse. Whether it's time for repairs or replacement, Eggers has you covered with the clarity and attention to detail your home deserves. Contact Eggers now at 636-242-6515 or at callaggers.com.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Borselli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
8:05, we're going to announce the latest, newest, greatest winner of our conservative Christmas giveaway. But then we'll have a new, greatest, newest winner during Vic's show, and then another newest, greatest winner during Tony and Katie's show, and then another one during Chris and Tim's show. But 8:05. And also 8:05, Brandon Morse from RedState.com going to be with us as well. All right, we'll come back to this Brittany Griner thing. I'm too close to cussing on the air.
Yeah, and now just to correct the record here, I mentioned a prisoner exchange during the Obama administration where 5 high-ranking Taliban members were released from Guantanamo in exchange for a deserter, court-martialed deserter. His name is Bo Bergdahl, and he was it's not the same person as the one who got back and became trans. That's a different person. That person, I think, was convicted of espionage.
Right, espionage. Right.
Yeah. So I got them mixed up in my head. You know, these various traitors that we keep conceding to.
Yeah. So
thanks,
anyway.
Nick.
Yeah, Nick Shore. Thank you, Nick Shore, for giving me that info.
Yeah, so the bottom line is here, and we'll come back to this later in the 8 o'clock hour. Brittany Griner, the basketball player, on the plane right now heading back to the United States as part of a prisoner exchange, and Vladimir Putin gets back a major, maybe the biggest arms dealer in the world, who has sold arms and explosives specifically to target United States military.
I was really happy about
And that was
it.
a smart move by Putin to send. And well, remember, confusing. Brittany Griner was in custody for quite a while. And then finally he probably got tired of waiting to see what Biden was going to do, so said, we're going to send her to the colonies. We're going to, or whatever that, what is it, they sent her off to
Siberia, basically.
It was a work camp.
A work camp kind
after
of.
she was convicted in court. Yeah,
and then the rumors started going around. They were doing articles, of course, in the left-wing media saying how bad they were and everything. And
well, probably true.
Yeah,
though.
which is probably true. Yeah, but it was a good move by Putin, and then Biden just buckled and said, "Okay."
There isn't some. I don't know. I mean, just to make this deal is unreal. I mean, nobody should have been traded for the arms dealer.
No,
I mean one of the world's biggest arms dealers, whose job it is to get explosives and rockets into the hands of our enemies,
especially during a freaking proxy war with that enemy.
And here's what we were talking about off the air: is that Biden actually gave Putin someone who's going to supply him with more ammo.
Yeah.
And we're paying $150 billion to Ukraine
to oppose that
guy. And yet we're still facilitating that guy. So it's kind of we're playing both sides.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Shots in foot.
Yeah. On my foot with a RPG.
Pew 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 pew.
Jeez. All right. Okay. So just ahead here in just a minute or so here, there actually is some really, really good news. There's a trend among leftist men that is I'm all about.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's great. I'll tell you about that in about 60 seconds. Can you name all the reindeer? From the song or from the legend?
Never could.
Dancer and Prancer, Donner and Blitzen, Comet, Cupid, something.
Donner and Blitzen.
Yeah. Donner and Blitzen. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so now
I think. I don't know.
Well,
and then there's, don't you recall?
Rudolph.
Yeah.
Rudolph.
Well, Rudolph, right?
And that guy. Yeah.
There are suggestions for other names.
Oh,
other reindeer.
Okay,
but
like a new batch,
right?
Okay,
but it's only fun if Morgan Freeman reads out the name.
Oh, yes. I like that. Yeah.
And now Morgan Freeman makes up new reindeer names:
Blitzer, Crocus, Danzig, Cumberbatch, Chad, Shia LaHouf, Dingleberry.
Oh, yeah.
El Diablo. Bryce Dallas Howard. Kiefer. Mad Dog. Papaya. Hibbity Jibbity. Classy Antler. Bert. Uncle Buck.
Yes.
Terry Cloth. Jambalaya. Cookie Dough. Darnell. Rolo. John Cena.
This has been Morgan Freeman making up new reindeer names.
I think
Hibbity Jibbity, that's my name.
Jibbity.
El Diablo was my favorite.
Diablo.
Hibbity Jibbity.
Everything's better when Morgan Freeman reads it.
Leroy Jenkins. Just making up.
Darnell.
Terry Cloth.
Chad.
Cookie dough.
And let me get okay. Yeah, a couple minutes left here. Okay, so there is I found this article on redstate.com. Again, of course, we're going to talk to Brandon Morris here in a few minutes. But there's another article I found that vasectomies among liberal men have skyrocketed since the Dobbs decision.
I love it. Yay. Good job, guys.
Yes. In some clinics in deep blue areas, apparently they've gone up hundreds of percentage. I mean,
good.
That's awesome.
And what's happening is the men are saying, it's basically, oh my goodness, there has to be some personal responsibility now, and it's not fair that a woman would have to carry this child by herself because there's both. So I'm going to get the vasectomy. And we're like, we've been telling you that for decades.
You dummy.
Really?
Yes, I applaud both the personal responsibility changes that this is currently driving, the babies' lives saved by the abortion being out of bounds here, and also the breeding to extinction of liberal thought.
Well, I know the reason's probably the Dobbs decision, but I think those guys probably got a good look at the women on the left and then, I'm going to go ahead and.
I 100% support liberal men getting vasectomies.
Yeah.
I will help you pay for yours. That's how much I support it.
That number is.
Hey, if there was a government program to support liberal men vasectomies, I wouldn't support it, but I would close my mouth about it quietly. It's like, all right.
The article at redstate.com is called "Great News: Liberal Men Getting Vasectomies Has Skyrocketed."
Good news.
Yay.
Great news.
That's
That's the title. Great news.
Great news.
Oh my goodness. And the funny part is right after the Dobbs decision, there was an immediate, because we reported on this, there was an immediate spike in searches.
Right.
For vasectomies.
So they just followed through.
Yeah, they followed through because now they have to go through, not to get into TMI, I've had one. Is it uncomfortable? Yeah, it's not fun. It's not that bad.
Sure.
I mean, you're very sore the next couple of days, let's put it that way.
Right.
But compared to the alternative of an irresponsible dude doing, planting babies everywhere. This is a move in the right direction, even though they feel like they've been forced into it.
Oh no!
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
I love it.
It's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
I'm actually
It's a bold strategy.
I'm a little surprised that there are so many liberal men who are following through with it, because I really figured that this tactic would be, well, now we've got to just find ways to get women to abortion states.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to
they seem to be going with the two-pronged attack. I mean, right. you've got companies like Starbucks who are going to do that stuff.
Well, for instance, I mean, here's the thing. Tashara Jones wants to put over $1 million into a fund to help subsidize abortions in Illinois. Sam Page tried to do it. Take the money and subsidize vasectomies.
Yes,
there you go.
I would support the bipartisan support.
Better way to do it. All right, Brandon Morse from redstate.com going to be with us at 8:04 here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance. Paid for by AIS Insurance.
800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. That's 800-721-5741. 741.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Brittany Griner is free at last. Russia releasing the American WNBA star in a dramatic high-level prisoner swap.
In exchange for Griner, the U.S. is releasing notorious Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. The exchange comes at a time of heightened tensions over Ukraine. It also comes with a heavy price and leaves behind another American who's been jailed for nearly 4 years in Russia. Griner, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, has been imprisoned for several months on drug charges.
Correspondent Jeremy House says Russian arms dealer Bout had served 10 years of a 25-year federal prison sentence. And retired U.S. Marine Paul Whelan does remain behind in Russia and has been jailed there for close to 4 years. Legislation that some fear will interfere with religious freedom expected to clear the House later today. The so-called Respect for Marriage Act comes up for a vote. Would require the federal government to recognize the validity of same-sex and interracial marriages. Police in Philadelphia say they have finally identified a young victim in the city's most notorious cold case.
Nearly 66 years ago, the body of a badly beaten boy was found stuffed inside a cardboard box. His naked remains were wrapped in a blanket, and police say he was malnourished. A photo of the child, believed to be between 4 and 6 years old, was put on a poster and plastered all over Philadelphia. Detectives pursued thousands of leads. Now, through detective work and DNA analysis, police say they've learned the name of the child, who for decades was known to Philadelphians as the boy in the box. And police say they'll publicly release the child's name today. I'm Donna Warder.
Stock futures higher on Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell. The Dow futures up 134 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
From the studio that brought you Miracles from Heaven comes 5,000 blankets.
There are over 5,000 homeless souls in this city alone. So it is Philip's wish to reach each and every one of them with a comforting gesture.
Inspired by an extraordinary true story.
We have to believe we can make a change, no matter how small.
Anna Camp stars in 5,000 Blankets. Exclusively in theaters for 2 nights only, December 12th and 13th. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. For tickets and info, go to 5000blanketsmovie.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Things have really heated up here in the last few minutes. They're clearing a crash 270 westbound at West Florissant. Right lane closed. Jam traffic past Old Halls Ferry. 6440 westbound at 9th Street downtown. Crash blocking the left lane. That is backing traffic up on the Poplar Street Bridge all the way around the bend back to about Tudor. 55 northbound at Richardson. Incident blocking the center lane. Slow traffic. 270 southbound exiting at Ladue. The ramp is partly closed due to a crash. Southbound 367 at 270. A crash in the right lane. This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Dell's Days of Deals start now with savings on select XPS laptops and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus savings on accessories and free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Light rain across the area this morning, making for some treacherous drives because of the fog combining with the rain and the spray and the slick roads. Temperatures in the low to mid-40s this morning, only topping out at about 48. The rain gets very spotty as we go through the afternoon and into tonight. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-40s. A warmer day and a drier day tomorrow with a high of 54. More rain in the forecast for Saturday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by All Solutions Pest Control, 636-486-7888, or visit them at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Tony Colombo here for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, a one-stop solution for all your family's dental needs, and I really mean all your dental needs. Dr. Boscia focuses on utilizing the latest technology to pass along the benefits and huge number of services to his patients, which saves you time, money, and reduces discomfort in many cases. He also focuses on your convenience by offering early morning and evening appointments to limit disruption to you and your kid's schedule, and to being available for same-day and emergency treatment. A broken or infected tooth can shut down your entire life, and that's why Dr. Boscia can usually treat you the same day you call about an issue, right there in the office without you having to be referred or make additional appointments with a specialist. In almost every case, Dr. Boscia is the only dental professional you need, and that's why Christine and I trust him with our family. Learn about all those great services and see if he's right for your family by visiting newcreationdentalcare.com. That's newcreationdentalcare.com.
St. Louis's place to talk.
The American people have further lost faith in our governmental institutions.
People can decide what they want and how they want to live.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. Get up! Get up! This is your
Pretty much the dust is settled on the midterm elections. There's obviously a recount going on in Colorado, one of the races, but after the loss for Republicans in Georgia this week, a lot of people pointing a lot of fingers at a lot of different people, but one of them is at the Republican Party itself for a variety of reasons. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Also, I found another article on Red State that has to do with clearly more evidence that there is just a coordinated cultural push to, you mentioned social contagions earlier, Gabe, and that is to put more LGBT, material in palatable ways.
Yeah.
For kids. We'll get to that in just a second. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 8:07. Got Gabe here, got Ken here. Joined now by Brandon Morse from RedState.com, and he wrote these articles. And Brandon, good to chat with you. Again, I want to start with, I think, the most in-your-face headline I have seen in a while on a conservative website. Let's face it, Republicans do not want to win, and let the pearl clutching begin, because they're going to say, but Brandon, no, we worked hard. Just, we got, we got beat because of Gen Z or because of whatever. When you say, let's face it, Republicans don't want to win, explain yourself, my friend.
Put me in the hot seat.
That's right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Here's the way I look at it. I think that Republican voters obviously want to win. But what they're seeing is a GOP leadership that seems lukewarm, tepid at best. Not many of them want to actually fight the big fights. You have people like Mitch McConnell at the head of the Republican Party who will literally take funding from candidates because he just doesn't think that they would obey him. If they criticize him or, the way that the GOP is being run in any way, he gets unenthused and he just kind of backs out and kind of, gives them the cold shoulder. You have this attitude throughout the GOP that, it's almost kind of like they're ignoring the base, really, because they know they're going to vote for them anyway. They're entitled at this point in time. So I can't help but think that the GOP is just kind of coasting. They're coasting on the fact that Republicans are going to vote for them no matter what. They're not really there to fight the big fights. They're not really there to take it to the Democrat Party to actually disassemble the authoritarian government that they have built over the course of decades. They're not the policy unmakers we need. They're still policy makers. So I look at things like Florida, where you have, a state that has gone blood red under the leadership of Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is a man who does fight the big fights. He does go after the people who need to be gotten after. All right. He took on Disney and won. He fires politicians in his state that are disobeying the law. Okay. I see that, and I see the Republican voters in those states, and they are just so on fire. Same thing in Iowa happened. On fire because these Republicans are ready to fight. So I see Republican voters as really wanting to win, but I see them not getting enthused about Republican politicians that have no desire to win. They're just there for a job. They know that they can just, stay there and they'll get voted for, and that'll be that. I think that this is really what the problem was this midterm elections was you had Republican voters who wanted to vote Republican, but they weren't given any reason to.
Good morning, Brandon. This is Ken Williams. I noticed it, when I would see these elections, these candidacies, and I think, shouldn't they be like being supported more? I mean, it's just kind of an intuition kind of thing, but it became very obvious that it was happening. Where do you think in the country that we've experienced, or that candidates have experienced less support from the RNC than anyone else?
I would say that Arizona and Georgia, I think, are two really good examples here. I think that if the RNC really was wanting to win and win well, Kari Lake would have been more supported. Herschel Walker, not the best candidate, I will say that, but I do think that there was a serious lack. I mean, you could go on Twitter and see it from various GOP leaders. Herschel Walker was just not the man, constantly being kind of shrugged at. And of course, that's going to not generate enthusiasm. So I would say that those are probably the two that immediately come to mind. And that's not the way to win battles. That's not the way to win battles. I mean, you've got to have a team mindset when you go into these things, and the GOP just doesn't.
Good morning, Brandon. Gabe Pfeiffer here. One of the battles that I think not only the GOP but conservatism in general has kind of given up on and not really fought well is the culture war. And we've been seeing more and more bold pushes by the culture warriors on the other side, trying to leverage our entertainment against us. And I wanted you to get a little bit into what this leaked writer's guide is telling us about the not-so-secret LGBTQ agenda.
Yeah, so up on redstate.com right now, you can go check it out for yourself. Gary from Nerdrotic posted a invite to a Zoom meeting from the Writers Guild of America. And for those of you who don't know what that is, the Writers Guild of America is pretty much, if a movie or television show was written, it was probably written from within that guild. There was an invite from the guild to people with writers and producers discussing how they were going to reinforce homosexuality and turn legacy characters gay or queer, quote unquote. Then you also had Disney, which had their own Zoom meetings and stuff like that, their own big company-wide meetings, promising to make, everything 50% gay. So this is effectively the very people who are in control of the tastemakers in our culture saying that they are going to start utilizing the stuff that you love, taking IPs, characters, storylines that you love, and injecting their politics into it so that, they can get their message across, so that they can normalize their radicalism. So this is something that they have been working on, obviously, for a very, very, very long time. It's just now starting to kind of come to, I want to say they've moved the Overton window so far that now it's like, well, now it's all or nothing. We're all in now. And it's kind of sad to think about it. I mean, you look at the Lord of the Rings of Power, you look at Star Wars, you look at the Wheel of Time, you look at Halo, you look at all these things that many of us love or grew up on. These characters that we know, have been established as a certain kind of character, and now they're being transformed into something unrecognizable, and so that they can sneak it into your household or let your kids watch it, and you think it's fine. You know this. This is something that you've known for a long time, but it's different than what you understand, and your kid watches it, and suddenly their radical politics becomes normalized right under your nose. That's kind of their game.
I kind of feel like us nerds have been the canary in the coal mine, kind of calling this stuff out a long time ago, where they were transforming our legacy characters right before our eyes, and we were up in arms about it a long, long time ago, screaming on the internet about it.
Yeah.
Nobody was listening to us.
Yeah. Well, it is. I would say, here's the funny part. The nerds are actually the fiercest warriors in this culture war, and they have been. I can remember back in 2014, 2015 when Gamergate happened, and a lot of people don't remember Gamergate, or at least they heard very little about it, and it was all bad.
I think I'm the only one in the room who knows that name.
Yeah, Gamergate was like the first time
First salvo.
that the left lost a major culture war. I mean, that was like one of the biggest, and that's one of the reasons they still talk about it to this day. You'll still hear journalists and stuff invoke the name of Gamergate every time something bad happens.
Well, what happened there? What happened there for those of us who don't know? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, Gamergate it all started kind of funny. It was a journalist who was giving good reviews to video games to a woman that he had slept with, and he did not disclose that relationship. That caused people to get angry and start demanding that the games press actually start practicing some ethics. The games press, which at that point in time had been taken over by ideologues and political radicals at that point, refused. And a huge culture war started between the two, with the mainstream media beginning to get involved because they wanted to protect the leftists in the games press. And you had all these people, all these gamers, all these culturites from all sorts of corners of the earth. And I'm talking from west to east, conservative, Democrat, black, white, didn't matter who it was. They all gathered together and just launched themselves against these corrupt journalists. And they eventually won that war. And to this day, you'll still see the New York Times will bring it up from time to time because they cannot get over the loss. Other websites were forced at that point in time to adopt ethics standards. It was probably the first time that the left had really experienced a loss in the culture war. And to this day, many people still blame the election of President Donald Trump and pretty much anything that happens where the right wins part of the culture war on Gamergate.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys didn't even know.
No. Gabe is sitting there so proud. He's just,
it's like, I knew this from the start. I was in there, right? I was in the trenches.
Yeah, I was in the field.
Exactly.
Sounds like a plan to me with mainstream media.
You need me on that wall.
You want me on
you
that
want
wall.
me on
You
that
need
wall.
me on that wall.
Exactly.
All right. Brandon Morris, RedState.com. All right. The two articles we just talked about, you can find one that is Leaked Writers Guild of America invite shows intent to reinterpret characters into LGBT mouthpieces. And the other one is, and I just closed it out, but it basically says, let's be honest, Republicans don't want to win. You can find them both at redstate.com. Hey, Brandon, what's your social media, Twitter and places like that? People definitely should be following you.
Yeah, no, follow me on Twitter at @TheBrandonMorris. I am making videos all the time on Red State's YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on Rumble. And twitch.tv/The Morse Code is where I stream.
Nice. All right, Brandon. Hey, appreciate you being back on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, just ahead here, we're going to go through the news roundup. I do have an update on the Brittany Griner and arms dealer swap.
It's still amazing to me.
Well, when you dig into it a little bit more, it's even worse based on what's not included in the deal. It's a bad deal, but guess what's not included in it? I'll tell you at 8:22 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Still seeing some major delays headed for the Poplar Street Bridge on westbound 5564. Backing up from the split, that's due to a crash westbound 64 at 9th Street. They've just about got it out of the way, but the two left lanes were closed. 55 southbound at Bates, we've got a crash in the left lane. That traffic back to 4500 South Broadway. 270 westbound at West Florissant, they're clearing one from the right lane. That's backed up to about New Halls Ferry. And southbound 367 at 270, they're clearing a crash. A couple of minor ones, 270 270 southbound, one on the Ladue off-ramp, one closer to Olive on the right side. This report sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. Northern Tool and Equipment is a problem solver's paradise. This holiday season, they have the perfect gift for every solver on your list. Great gifts from under $50 and from the best names, too, like Milwaukee, Ironton, and Power Horse. Northern Tool and Equipment made for gift giving. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Since 2007, the state of Missouri and local governments have handed out almost $5 billion in tax subsidies or abatements to private developers. That money could have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. And studies show these subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. If developers want to build a sports stadium or shopping mall, why should they be given our tax dollars to do it? It's time to reform economic development subsidies. The Show Me message has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
The Vic Borselli Show.
There was an earthquake. It was in between 2007 and 2009. And I was up at 4 in the morning, whatever, had my laptop up on the counter. I'm drinking some coffee. And all of a sudden our bird, our parrot, Larry Bird, he was green. We had to call him Larry Bird. What do you, right? He starts squawking, and his feathers are flying around the cage. And I said, Larry, what's the matter? And then I felt the rumble.
Vic Borselli, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Kurtman, host of the Paul Kurtman Show on News Talk STL, but I'm also the president of PR Kurtman Investments. The market is down and inflation is up, so if you have questions about the investments in your portfolio, please let me help. Just send me an email by visiting freedomportfolios.com. There's no cost. The market might be uncertain, but that doesn't mean you should be too. Contact me today, Paul Kurtman, by visiting freedomportfolios.com.
Fox News commentary.
The Real ID requirement deadline has been extended another 2 years, and that's all fine and dandy, but what about voter ID? I'm Tommy Lahren, more next.
This holiday season, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us with their annual Season of Hope. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve, the foundation will deliver mortgage-free homes to dozens and dozens of America's catastrophically injured veterans, fallen first responder families, and Gold Star families. Bring hope to heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Gotten your Real ID yet, don't sweat it. You can put it off another 830 days because the U.S. federal government has once again pushed the deadline and pushed it another 2 years till May of 2025. The deadline for these ID cards has already been pushed with COVID as an excuse, and yet again, the lingering impacts of COVID are to blame for this extension. I think it's a load of BS. We need to maintain a minimum security standard in this country, and proving you are who you say you are is a big part of that. And I've had it with the nonstop and arbitrary roadblocks placed in the way of identification requirements. We need real IDs. We need voter ID. We need to bring national security back as a top priority. It's not that hard. It shouldn't take this long, and the deadline shouldn't keep getting pushed. Wouldn't it be nice if the Department of Homeland Security cared about, I don't know, Homeland Security again? I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can listen to all of my hot takes at foxnewscommentary.com.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
But I'm not going to turn my dialogue to you guys. I really like this channel.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
Got a few things we'll bring you up to date on here with kind of a news roundup of sorts. It's 8:24 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer, Ken Williams here. 314-912-1019. The breaking news right now is that basketball player Brittany Griner is on a plane heading home to the U.S. from Russia. She's been released from prison there. in exchange for the arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death, who was convicted after being caught supplying arms and ammunition to those whose job was to shoot down and kill American military personnel. So that's what we know so far. I decided to double check on something.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Whelan, former United States Marine, retired Marine, who's also being held in Russia on sham charges as well, is being left there. So originally, apparently,
my gosh, I forgot about him.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
No, he's so apparently he was brought up in the negotiations, and they couldn't get both of them, and so the Biden administration negotiated to get Brittany Griner instead of a former Marine who went to Russia to attend a wedding and was then jailed on what is universally and internationally considered trumped-up sham charges. He's been in Russian prisons for years, but we went with the basketball player in exchange for the arms dealer.
That makes me sick.
Yeah, whose job it is to supply arms to people trying to kill the United States and the enemies. There you go. That's the news update. Hey, Nikita, thanks for being a part of News Talk STL. You're on the air. Sorry about my rant there. I'm really mad about this.
Oh, no, I'm right there with you, and I'm probably past that. I'm probably really past that. You mean to tell me we waste all this time in the USA to bring a basketball player back who decided to go there and break the law, and we have military over there that we do not care about? Because that's what I'm looking at. Yeah. If they don't get Biden and his crew, the worst crew ever, out of the White House, I don't know what's going on. And she's not on a plane home because she complained about everything in America. She's just on a plane. I'm so mad. Right, she's just on a plane.
You're right.
You traded a person that did not want to go by the rights of any country, and then you left a Marine there.
Retired Marine.
Careful.
Hey, Nikita, that's okay. Nikita, that's okay. I have a button for that.
I'm trying. I am really trying. I am so upset this morning. I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
and I'm
feel
just
you.
tired of it. If they don't get this man and his crew out of office quick while they wasting time on Trump, get him out. Who did Trump kill? Nobody.
No one.
You got a whole country that's bent on killing a small country, and then what are you, a group you in with? You got money in there, Biden? You playing like you helping the Ukraine, but you're really not.
Hey, Nikita, can I ask you a question? Okay, now the Biden administration has currently given so far $150 billion to Ukraine, in addition now to giving Putin one of his main armaments, gentlemen. What do you think about that?
I think the Biden administration, again, should be pulled out of office right now. I think it's about 8:36, 8:30 in the morning. They need to come out of there. Who trades a basketball player for a known person that just wants to kill every American in this world? This is not America anymore.
Yeah, that's not the priorities I want in leadership. Hey, Nikita, I feel you. I am absolutely livid along with you. Thanks so much for letting us know.
Okay. Have a good day.
All right, too, Nikita.
Try to have a good day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope she feels better, though.
Yeah,
we
seriously.
got it off her chest.
Yeah, you got to let it out sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, but when you look at how bad this is for the United States, we take somebody who literally is one of the world's leading arms dealers, specializing in equipping America's enemies.
Yes. All of the bad guys.
Equipping the bad guys with explosives and armaments and everything designed to attack U.S. interest and military interest, and that's who we trade for a basketball player. While we have a retired Marine who's been in prison now in a work camp in Russia.
I remember this story because I believe basically he had some sort of episode while he was behind the wheel of his car or something like that, and got into an accident and somebody got hurt. Now they say he was drunk, but or
well, they,
something.
No, they
like,
convicted him for an espionage charge.
Oh, they convicted him for espionage.
Yeah. Well, and internationally,
oh
that's,
my gosh,
it's accepted as
the whole deal is kangaroo court
complete sham. You know, this was an opportunity by Russia to grab a former U.S. Marine and security expert, as he's been described. And so Paul Whelan his freedom isn't negotiated for. He's been there longer. He's served this country. But we go get Brittany Griner,
who actually did the thing that she got convicted of.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you know, the types of punishments they have over there is unjust. I'm sure it was a kangaroo court. I'm sure she didn't have proper representation like she would have over here. But she actually did the thing that she was convicted of, as opposed to this honorable man who served his country, who was obviously internationally recognized, as you said, as having been railroaded into prison, and he's left off the table.
He was in the negotiations,
but still,
he didn't make the final cut.
That's wild to me.
And voters for 2024, remember, Griner checked the boxes, and the soldier didn't.
You're not wrong. I mean, what else are we supposed to think about this? About this exchange?
But Joe Biden, in his address to the nation over Brittany Griner,
address to
the nation that he just did about 45 minutes ago or so, he goes, "Oh no, we're still working on the Paul Whelan's freedom too. We're still negotiating on that. We haven't forgotten him. You've forgotten him for years, but you managed to get, you know, I mean,
oh man,
I can't, and." And what leverage?
The serious negotiations. I'm sorry, Gabe. This jumped in. A serious negotiation would have been, you know what? It's both or nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely.
Both or nothing.
Yes.
Leave her ass there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Should the Merchant of Death even been on the table to begin with?
No.
Yeah, if there were like 10 or 15 people involved.
Like you gotta get. You have no leverage now. How are you gonna get him back? It's all crap. It's all crap.
314-912-1019. This is 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. In Missouri, recreational marijuana is legal again. I got a little bit of an update for you on that.
I might need some now.
Yeah.
We need to chill out. At the White House.
We need to chill out. 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
News, analysis, opinion. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis, for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Reminding you to subscribe to our show podcast so you never miss anything that happens here at News Talk STL. Get our podcasts every day on the show pages at newstalkstl.com, or just subscribe to your favorite shows on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. The EPA said it's been blocked from testing the largest source of drinking water in the city of St. Charles. This comes after the city shut down 5 of its 7 wells over contamination concerns. The St. Charles mayor said because the EPA did not meet an insurance requirement, testing was denied. Chick-fil-A is preparing to invest $16 million into a new market distribution center in Maryland Heights. The 100,000 square foot facility is expected to create more than 60 new jobs at Riverport Trade Center and open in the second half of next year. The ACLU of Missouri is suing the Independent School District over its policy of automatically removing any challenged library material before it is reviewed. The ACLU argues in a federal lawsuit filed Tuesday that the district's current policy violates students' First Amendment rights because it restricts their access to ideas and information for an improper purpose and without any prior notice. The St. Louis County Port Authority on Tuesday said it is awarding 21 county nonprofits $2.6 million from funds generated by a lease with the River City Casino. The authority's Community Investment Fund, which is funding the grants, was set up to endow economic and community development projects that create new jobs, foster economic opportunity, and support community investment and redevelopment. And the Blues welcome the Jets to Enterprise Center tonight. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to newstalkstl.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Still pretty slow, 55-64 headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, but it's opening up. There was a crash west of the bridge that cleared 15 minutes ago. Otherwise, we're doing better. 55 north, just busy, headed up towards Gasconade. 270 north was just crowded in Manchester. 270 west, thinning out in North County. There was a crash at West Florissant, but it's been gone for a while. This report is sponsored by Mucinex DM. Buy Mucinex DM to get cough and chest congestion relief for 3 times longer than your typical 4-hour cough and chest congestion medicines. That's 3 times longer relief for chest congestion and cough. Nothing lasts longer. I'm Joe Sonderman. That's the latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Light rain across the area this morning, making for some treacherous drives because of the fog combining with the rain and the spray and the slick roads. Temperatures in the low to mid-40s this morning, only topping out at about 48. The rain gets very spotty as we go through the afternoon and into tonight. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-40s. A warmer day and a drier day tomorrow with a high of 54. More rain in the forecast for Saturday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Guys, are you getting up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? As we get older, so do our prostates, and that can mean urinary problems that affect our sleep and quality of life. Life is better outside the bathroom. Real Health's Prostate Complete can help you relieve those annoying and painful prostate symptoms. Available at Walmart or visit realhealth.com for more information and to order yours today. Try it risk-free with our 120-day money-back guarantee. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease.
What if everything you thought and believed to be true about owning and buying your home turned out to be wrong?
Straightforward, objective advice on the right way to make the most out of every dollar you put into your home.
We're the only country that has one of those. Most other countries, considering like Canada, the UK, they don't have long-term fixed-rate mortgages like that. They're all variable rate mortgages.
HomeWise with Michael Midget, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The news and talk
extending the pause on student loan payments
that matters to St. Louis.
The U.S. has now had 40 mass killings so far this year.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
What's happening in
News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
So the headlines you're seeing on social media right now and what you're going to see for those left who actually read a newspaper, there was a few of them out there. The headlines are going to be what a victorious deal the Biden administration made by bringing basketball star Brittany Griner back to the United States from a Russian prison. I just don't care about Brittany Griner. I mean, I don't want an American unfairly held, like anybody else does, but I just don't care about her.
Yeah.
But I'm furious that we gave up the world's one of, if not the world's leading arms dealers to get a basketball player back. And an arms dealer who was convicted of specifically trying to kill Americans.
It's wild.
And he's going to be used by Putin.
Of course he will. While at the same time, also in Russian prison since 2018, and latest reports say he's now in a work camp, is a former Marine, Paul Whelan, who was there for a wedding. And worldwide, it's just accepted that it was trumped up sham charges, but that's not who we hold out for. We hold out for the basketball player, and that's what the President of the United States did a national address for, was to say, we got a basketball player back. Oh, by the way, we're giving up a worldwide international arms dealer.
It's so stupid.
Unbelievable.
It's so stupid.
Hey, John, you're on News Talk STL. What's your take on all this?
Well, if I was in Putin's position, I would release Brittany Griner so that it'll serve as a wedge between all the various factions that disagree with each other in this country, just further subdivide any attempt that we might have to try to, supposedly work together in Congress or whatever it happens to be.
Well,
So
that's
very, very cagey on his part.
yeah. I can. I mean, I can see that. I mean, she was divisive in that she participated in the taking a knee when the national anthem was played, and the WNBA is generally a Black Lives Matter ally or affiliate. So yeah, I mean, she's contributing to that. The thing is that if you're not a WNBA fan, you probably didn't pay much attention to her until she was imprisoned. But this right here, I'm not upset that she's coming back to the U.S. I'm upset about what we gave to get her.
Yeah, and we've left behind military people, which they don't seem to respect the military any longer.
Yeah.
One of my friends, his son has joined the Marine Corps, and they're doing experiments with integrating them in with different, people that are changing their sex and everything else. And they're not training like they did.
It's a huge mistake. That's going to weaken our military.
Yes. Well, that's about all I had to say on it. So
Hey, John,
thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for listening, John.
By the way, I just did a Google search for how many Americans are still left in Afghanistan, and I'm seeing between 300 and 400 and some Americans are believed to still be in Afghanistan, although that's hard to determine whatsoever. But Paul Whelan is still in a Russian work camp.
Yeah.
Been there since 2018.
2018.
And he went to Russia to go to a wedding and trumped up espionage charges. When I say that, that's not me just opposing the Biden administration. That's internationally accepted that these are just trumped up charges.
Yeah.
Now, when you brought up Afghanistan, Biden will tell you that they chose to be there. They want to be there.
Right.
And I've heard that they're hiding now because they're tamping down more and more on women, and their rights and whatever rights that they would have are being taken away even more. So they're going into hiding. So they're not necessarily wanting to stay there, I don't think.
And you know who's probably ruling Afghanistan right now, or among the rulership, is those 5 Taliban leaders that we released from Guantanamo Bay in exchange for Bo Bergdahl back in the day.
Right.
Because we have this glorious history of making really bad prisoner trade deals, apparently.
Yeah, this one, and that's the thing is I mean, people are going to take whatever I say in or out of context. That's up to you. I mean, you can say radio talk show host angry that Brittany Griner released from prison and sent back to America. No, I'm not. I mean, as much as I'm sure I disagree with her on probably just about everything, given her left-wing activism or demonstrations, I should say, I'm not upset that she's coming back to the United States.
Sure.
I am furious that this is where the Biden administration's policies are, because this is obviously an outreach to a voter base. And this is not what serious international politicians do. This is not what serious people do. Say, sure, you can have your highly successful international anti-American arms dealer in exchange for a basketball player who can hit a jump shot. That's what we traded.
Biden screws up everything he touches. It's like, is there anything that this man has done that has been positive? We opened the show earlier talking about the crisis on the border and another dead Border Patrol agent because of his policies. Is there anything that this guy can't screw up?
I just, honest to God, guys, I feel, and I know it's going to sound conspiracy, but Joe Biden's doing none of this stuff. It's people behind the scenes that are doing it. I really believe that. I don't think Biden has his hand on the pulse of what's going on at the border in Ukraine or any. I think there are people behind him that are running an agenda.
Well, he does think there are more important things. I guess this exchange was obviously more important because he came out and addressed the nation about it.
Oh, my goodness. The president and the vice president and the secretary of state and Brittany Griner's wife were all just on national television because that's how much they're bragging about this. And so every time you hear Brittany Griner and somebody brings up Brittany Griner, aren't you glad she got back home? Remember the names Paul Whelan, and then remind people, yeah, we gave up an arms dealer who specifically specialized, that's redundant, but who specialized in equipping America's enemies to kill Americans. That was the trade.
I can't.
And by the way, we left the retired Marine.
And we left the
behind.
retired Marine.
Yeah.
On trumped up charges. It's amazing. It really is. Even if you're glad Brittany Griner is back, and I got no beef against her, really in that regard, whatever.
She can say what she wants. I mean, I can disagree and stay, but the fact of the matter is, she protested at WNBA games, which nobody watched.
Nobody watched anyway. So I mean, even if you're glad she's back, the Biden did it in the worst way possible.
Yep.
And then took a victory lap. Posted releasing photos of him hugging Brittany Griner's wife in the Oval Office. I'm sure that she's thrilled to get Brittany Griner back. I mean, again, I'm not mad at her for that, but this just shows you how decrepit these values are with the Biden administration.
I'm mad because you have a soldier there who's been there since 2018, spent almost 5 years there now.
On trumped up charges.
Who served this country honorably. And then you have another person who hates this country, who kneels for the flag. And she's being,
and she did what she was convicted of.
And she did what she was convicted of. Had the THC vape, and now she's being brought home. I don't get it.
See, I'm well aware that that's really unjust what's happening in Russia, and that they look for ways to trump up charges on Americans. So you know what? I don't go to Russia.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Or if you're gonna go, you're really, really careful about it.
Every time I travel internationally, I check to make sure that there are things that are normal here that are not illegal there because I'm in their country.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that Russia is right in all of it. They're absolutely wrong. It was clearly a political, public relations stunt, leverage point to lock up Brittany Griner. Absolutely that was. But giving up somebody whose job it is to equip people to kill Americans. And that's what the Biden administration is bragging about. This is just unreal. Unreal. 314-912-1019.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Doing much better here in the last few minutes. It's still pretty busy rounding the bend headed for the Papa Street Bridge due to a couple of earlier incidents. 55 North is just busy coming up towards Gasconade in the construction zone. We look a lot better 270 West headed for the work zone in North County. We had an incident there earlier, but it's been cleared for a while. This report is sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. Northern Tool and Equipment is a problem solver's paradise. This holiday season, they have the perfect gift for every solver on your list. Great names too for under $50, and from the best names like Milwaukee, Ironton, and Powerhouse. Northern Tool and Equipment, made for gift giving. I'm Joe Sonderman, and that's the latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Columbo and Katie.
Got another packed show on Thursday as Crane Durham joins me, and we talk to Christian Daytalk at the White House at 2:20, and JT from Pocket Watching with JT at 3:05.
Weekdays at 2
on News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report Court has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. That's 800-561-3405.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
As of 8 hours and 50 minutes ago, recreational marijuana is legal now in Missouri. Jeff Manasso explains.
Adults 21 and up in Missouri are now allowed to legally possess up to 3 ounces of marijuana after voters there approved Amendment 3, legalization of weed last month. The state also creating an avenue for some nonviolent offenders currently serving sentences related to pot possession to potentially vacate the sentences and clear their records. In November, voters in Maryland also approved legalizing weed set for next year. Voters in Arkansas and North and South Dakota rejected it. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Okay, so in case you think, all right, I'm going to go celebrate by grabbing some pot, I'm going to go to that dispensary in wherever they are around the Missouri side of things and walk in and say, hey, I want that bit of pot right there. That's not how it works just yet. So what happens is, as of today, the dispensaries can request the full license to sell recreational marijuana, and it could take up to 60 days to get that. I don't think it will, but it could take that much. And so if you have your medical marijuana card, then you can go in and get it just like normal. But if you're, angry about the stupid Brittany Griner for an arms dealer trade, and you got to calm down. You got to run over to Fairview Heights or Sauget to get that recreationally right away. But in Illinois or on Missouri side, it'll be a similar setup, probably within 30 to 60 days for the most part.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm not going to get my fix, guys.
I wanted it right now, especially the crap going on we talked about today.
We do need a chill pill of sorts.
You're about to get a text from Janet. Hey, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Oh,
Bring
my
me
goodness.
some.
Yeah.
No.
Man. Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, so that's, it's going to change. It sounds to me like Illinois is probably going to be more lax. Their rules, Missouri's rules are still more structured and regulated.
Yeah.
Not just for the protectionism of the businesses that are going to be able to sell this, but there's an additional tax that would go to local cities and state as well. So there's more structure and more regulation on the Missouri side. Illinois side, I think I don't know, but I think you just kind of walk in and say, I want to buy that, and buy it just like you would a liquor store or a shoe store.
I guess,
for the most part. Which,
yeah.
hey, I'm okay with that. Works for me.
Well, if nothing else, as a scientist, I'm interested in seeing the social experiment at work. So,
yeah, the report on the social experiment on this, though, is going to be late because everybody's just kind of busy doing other
it's
stuff.
going to be late.
Everybody's kind of chilling
You're
out.
going to get sleep in.
Yeah.
What do you think, Vic?
About the medical marijuana?
Yeah.
We'll start there, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get on to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's more to talk about here.
Are you talking about the structure of it? Because we've already discussed should we have it or not, right?
We're
that's
past
done.
that, right? Yeah. Whatever.
So you said that Missouri's is very structured and Illinois is very scambotic. Any surprises there?
No.
That's how they run their country, run their state on a daily basis.
That's a good point. So.
Yeah. On the Illinois side, it's pretty much they saw the dollar signs and they're like, hey, do it. And I think they also went, yeah, everybody's doing it anyway. I mean, collectively, I know there are people who are, don't like the idea of further legalization. to me, I think we've made that decision that the country's just legalize the stuff,
Well, and also, I guess, legalized marijuana is kind of part of the Brittany Griner story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was the THC vape pen that got her in trouble to begin with, right?
You said, Mike, you go to another country, you got to know the rules, right? You go to Singapore and you throw your gum in the street, and next thing you know, they're whacking your ass in the middle of town. Right?
Yep, that's right.
But I can't believe, this is what really makes me mad about this. Brittany Griner used her white privilege to get out of jail while a black former Marine is still in a prison. Wait,
no. See, I think you got. I got that mixed up.
Never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the white privilege kept him there.
Did you see that guy? The guy they call the Merchant of Death. By the way, he looks like the Russian in the Pine Barrens episode of The Sopranos.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
He fit every stereotype that you could possibly have. They were just showing pictures of him on the different news channels. I'm like, yep, that guy looks like. You would walk by you in the mall or the restaurant, and you would go, "That's a Russian army." Just the way he looks.
He's a character straight out of a movie, right? Yeah. Like somebody cast him.
He looks like the guy in the Pine Barrens.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage has shot him 2 or 3 times.
Exactly. But Paulie and Christopher couldn't handle him with a shovel.
Oh my gosh.
Brittany Griner is going to go back to playing basketball.
Right. Yeah.
This guy's going to go back to killing Americans.
Yes.
Great trade.
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah, that's a good trade.
Fantastic.
Right? In the middle of a proxy war with these people.
Unbelievable.
Right?
Oh, just unreal. I mean, it's just unreal. And then did you see that they did like a victory lap by doing a national address?
Yeah,
from
I watched it.
Unbelievable.
You know the best? Well, not the best part, but the one part of that is Kamala behind Joe with that face.
It's so touching.
Oh yeah,
It's so touching.
Brittany's coming out. And let me tell you something. Brittany Griner better be standing her skinny black ass up for the national anthem when she comes
absolutely.
back.
Oh my gosh, you better stand.
Right, Ken?
Yeah, but I don't think.
What? She's not gonna?
I don't.
I
honestly
trade her for Waylon.
I don't think she will. I mean, I looked at Mike and he's like, we said this morning, and he's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, I don't think.
You know
so
what?
either.
I bet they do. I bet they just eliminate the national anthem.
Yeah, from the WNBA
Give them
games?
cover.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
wow.
That's my guess.
You're probably right, but that's terrible too.
It's not like anybody's watching anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's like, listen, both of their fans are going to be really mad.
No fair. Mike's coming up with all the good jokes this morning. You said it that people didn't know who Brittany Griner was before this happened. Guilty. I had no idea who she was until she got arrested.
Because what's the way going to respond to you by saying, "What are you talking about? She's the most famous player in the WNBA." Well,
yeah. Right. Yeah. So she's about as famous as I am.
Right. As famous as the least known player in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Jeez. How about this? How about a little bit of sports that we in St. Louis can maybe agree on?
Yes.
I sent Gabe the picture yesterday. The XFL announced the new unis for they put a lot into those uniforms, like literally with parts of the graphics, like being an homage to like the manufacturing and aviation industries in St. Louis, and if you look closely, you can see those. Man, they are sharp uniform. I hope this team is really good because, man, they are running everything so well.
I'm ready.
There it is. Yeah, check it out.
Oh, I like that.
Yep.
I want a hoodie that looks like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I want a jersey with my name on it.
Hey, Mike, you want to announce a name?
I forgot to do that earlier.
Yeah.
The conservative Christmas giveaway. I was gotten so worked up over the Brittany Griner thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I am so sorry to Nash Tom.
And I think it's Tom Nash.
Is it Tom Nash? He just put it in the other way.
Nash Tom.
I thought it was different, but that's how it was emailed to me.
Yep.
So Nash Tom or Tom Nash.
Whichever one you are.
Whichever one you are, you have got tickets to go see the Nutcracker.
Hey!
All right.
And
is there a last name Nash, first name Thomas?
That's right.
You want a prize.
That's what was on the email. But either way, we're going to reach out to you, and we're going to get your prize to you. And one Mr. Vic Porcelli is going to give away another prize in the conservative Christmas giveaway here between 9 and 11 o'clock. We got 20 seconds, Vic. What's coming up?
Alveda King. Do I need to say any more?
No,
That's
not
it.
at all.
Yep.
What time?
I'm sorry. It's good information. 9:41.
Oh, right here in the first hour, right?
Yep,
Vic Porcelli just ahead, right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey,
Hey, Vic Porcelli here. Thank you for making 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL the fastest growing radio station in St. Louis. We've been blown away by all the listener and advertiser support we've received in the short time we've been on the air, and we would love to support your business and have you as part of the News Talk STL team. Just send an email to info@newstalkstl.com to get details on how you can join us here at the new conservative voice of St. Louis, 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a